Tigers, and they will face Duke, no doubt, with a sense of urgency today. The Irish are 0-6 at home this year. Notre Dame has not gone winless at home since 1933. Freshman quarterback Jimmy Clausen and the Irish have lost 4 straight since winning at UCLA in early October. But Clausen will face a Duke team today that has lost 29 of its last 30 games. And hi again, everyone. We'll get you out to the game in just a moment. But first, some other sports news. And it's been a rough few.
Notre Dame Stadium on Senior Day, the final home game of the season. It's a familiar ritual before every Notre Dame home football game, the walk from Mass across the campus to the stadium. But on this day, the walk is bittersweet for the Notre Dame seniors. Sweet because it's the final walk with perhaps a few moments for reflection on their experience here and the lifelong relationships they built. Bitter because their final season has been a shocking exercise in futility. The first Irish team ever to lose 9 games. But today, a final chance to salvage something positive from this year, to leave the stadium for the final time with a smile and lasting memory. Today's opponent carries similar frustration, a similar dedication to academics and the college experience. From Notre Dame Stadium, it's the Blue Devils of Duke against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Notre Dame Stadium for the final time this season. Tom Hammond and Pat Hayden ready for the Blue Devils and the Irish. Another frustrating week for Charlie Weiss, who has had to try to regroup after losing to Air Force a week ago, and saying the last 2 games today against Duke and on the road at Stanford next week will help tell whether they'll be able to turn it around next year. And, of course, today, final home game, a chance to say goodbye to some Notre Dame seniors that have had pretty outstanding careers.
Yeah, really good people, good players, and 3 of them in particular, I think. And we talked to Charlie yesterday, said John Carlson, you know, this is the All-American guy, which when you think about Notre Dame players, you think about John Carlson. Tom Zbikowski playing his last home game, the face of the Irish defense for the last 3 years. And how about Trevor Laws, Tom? He has been unbelievable this year. Really, I haven't seen anybody play with more passion than Trevor Laws. Sometime early in this game, he's going to have his 100th tackle of the season.
And if they are the recent past of Notre Dame football, the future, perhaps freshman quarterback Jimmy Clausen.
Well, Charlie Weiss said to us yesterday, we found our guy. We finally found our quarterback, and he's hoping he can kind of take last week's performance into the next 2 weeks and into the next 3 seasons. When you protect him, he can get rid of the ball. He showed some more mobility in the pocket last week, which was a good thing. Clutch on 4th down. This is a touchdown pass on 4th down. And so I think you can say, hey, he took some baby steps last week. He needs to take that, giant leap for mankind this week and next week.
Well, Duke, like Notre Dame, comes in with only 1 win this season. Their coach is Ted Roof. He's in his 4th season in Durham, and he says they've made a lot of progress. He's just sorry it hasn't shown up in the win column more. Certainly he has an explosive passing game to call on today.
Well, and a pretty good young quarterback in Thad Lewis, who is his 2nd year as a starter. He's sophomore this year. This is a guy who's thrown 19 touchdown passes this year, and he's blessed to have 2 pretty good wide receivers to his left and to his right. Jamar Wright is their leading receiver. In his career, he's caught over 100 passes. Their leading receiver this year, 3 of those have gone into the end zone. But even more explosively on the other side, Eron Riley. How about this, Tom? 9 touchdown catches. He's caught 5 passes for 50 yards or more. You see a bunch of long ones right here in these highlights. Not one Notre Dame receiver's caught a pass for 50 yards. So Duke has really struggled running the football, but their passing game has been pretty efficient.
All right, the Duke Blue Devils and the Irish of Notre Dame set to square off on Senior Day. And the Irish filing down toward the tunnel to make their entrance to the stadium. We'll be back to the Vonage Notre Dame countdown to kickoff in just 30 seconds. Looking to voice your opinion about the Irish? Submit your questions to NBCSports.com/Irish Live. Then watch Irish Live, presented by Vonage, for answers every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, exclusively at NBCSports.com. Chilly afternoon at Notre Dame Stadium as the Irish get set to make their appearance. And for many of the seniors, a time to think about the good moments and some of the bad as they make their entrance to the stadium for the final time. Travis Thomas, you see, and Tom Zbikowski, number 9, his normal spot to lead the Irish onto the field. And what must his thoughts be at this moment? And here come the Irish. Jimmy Clausen hoping to take that next step, as you said, Pat, today. Charlie Weiss saying he really saw a lot of things to like from his young freshman quarterback in the second half, especially against the Falcons of Air Force last week. And Duke will be making a rare trip into Durham. It's only the fourth time these two teams have played, the first time since 1966. The Blue Devils of Duke. Their coach, Ted Roof, who almost came to Notre Dame as an assistant to George O'Leary, a player at Georgia Tech, and in his fourth season as the Duke head coach. So Duke and Notre Dame, you've been watching the Vonage Notre Dame countdown to kickoff. And we'll be right back to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. Back at Notre Dame Stadium, it's Duke against Notre Dame. Today's game brought to you by Prudential. Alex Flanagan on maternity leave, so on the sideline today, our friend from TNT, Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, we saw what a victory over Notre Dame did to the Naval Academy. They canceled classes on Monday. For two teams that are 1-9, what would it mean for Duke and for Ted Roof if you were to win here today?
Well, most importantly for our players and for Duke, it would be a huge win for us. A lot of momentum. It would propel our program to the next game and the offseason, and put a lot of salve and some wounds for our university, our players, and our fans.
You took the entire team and staff to the College Football Hall of Fame yesterday. How's this whole weekend been?
It's been a wonderful experience. You know, so many of our kids and a lot of our coaches had never been there, had an experience, had a chance to go there. So to learn more about the history of games so that we can continue our increased level of respect for this game.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Craig, and Duke has won the toss and deferred into the second half. And if you look at the stats, Pat, remarkable the similarities.
Yeah, you know, and some really bad numbers there all the way around, and particularly the third down conversions. I think the toughest thing for a coach is to keep your team positive in light of those statistics. But it should be a competitive game considering those.
That's true. Joe Surgin will kick off for Duke as Jimmy Clausen gets set to take the field. Armando Allen and Golden Tate will be the deep men for Notre Dame to receive this opening kickoff. There's a look at Allen.
He's had a lot of touches this year, Armando Allen, as a receiver, running back, kick returner.
Just not many scores for him. Into the end zone only once. So Allen hoping for a big game here. We playing against his high school teammate, Thad Lewis, the quarterback of Duke. That'll take a bounce and be picked up on the fly by one of the upmen, one of the linemen, rumbling ahead with both hands on the football, knocked down at the 30-yard line. It was Olsen, Eric Olsen, the starting offensive lineman. So here's Jimmy Clausen onto the field for Notre Dame. Came alive in the second half against Air Force. Now 4 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. Our Adidas starting lineups for the Irish. Aldridge, top rusher, but with only 436 yards. Fifth-year senior John Sullivan out with injury today, giving Dan Winger his first start at center. He is a natural center, although he started a couple of times at guard for the Irish. And here's Allen in the backfield for the opening play from scrimmage. It's a screen pass to Allen with blockers in front. Armando Allen goes one-on-one on the corner and taken down at the 45-yard line after a gain of 13 on the screen pass on first down. Katron Gainey making the Duke tackle.
Well, Charlie Weiss was saying to us yesterday, 21 scripted plays, and you're going to see a lot of short passes in this first and opening drive. They've not been terribly successful, Tom, on the screen pass. We said that all year long, and there's really perhaps one of their 2 best screen passes we've seen all year from the Irish.
So first down, Notre Dame.
Golden Tate up here too, Tom.
Tate in the game. Coach Weiss telling us that they wanted to get him involved a little more. Grimes also starting in motion and resetting as they hand to Allen. And Armando Allen to midfield for the Irish on first down. Here's our Adidas starting lineup for the Duke defense. Ogumbasi, the leading Duke with 3.5 sacks. Ray, the leading tackler, with 97. And Davis, the free safety, does a bit of everything for the Blue Devils on defense.
Vincent Ray, number 31, that outside linebacker, really has had a very good season for the Blue Devils on defense.
James Aldridge in now at running back behind Schwab, the fullback. Zbikowski making the last tackle for the Blue Devils, and right in the center of the defense as Aldridge gets the call. Coach Weiss saying he expected to mix it up between run and safe passes on these first few plays of the game.
Well, you know, neither one of these teams has run the ball.
Tackle by
well. 119 teams in Division 1A. You see Duke last, Notre Dame second to last, and that's been really the biggest reason, or one of the big reasons they're both 1-9. There's no consistency in the running game, and they've both given up a lot of sacks.
Here's 3rd down and 3 for the Irish. Draw play, handoff to Aldridge, and Aldridge breaks the tackle and makes it across the line for the first down as Notre Dame converts a 3rd and 3 to keep the drive going.
Zbikowski, number 3 for Duke, the tackle, really had an opportunity to make a play right there. He just goes right around the right guard, but then misses Aldridge. Good vision by Aldridge to kind of see the quick penetration by Zbikowski and then pick up the first.
Tauili and Wright combined finally to get him down, but not until he had a first down. And Allen now back in at tailback.
Well, they like to throw the wide receivers in these big cushions.
Short drop pass batted down at the line of scrimmage by Chris Davis.
I mentioned Chris Davis done a lot of things well for the Blue Devils. Forced a bunch of fumbles, had an interception up here at the top. Trying to get the ball to John Carlson. And the former Eagle Scout, pretty happy with that tip ball.
Yeah, an Eagle Scout. And one of the few seniors on this young Duke team, senior from Stone Mountain, Georgia. 59 tackles, half a sack, 3 forced fumbles, an interception. 2nd down and 10, Clausen. Moving in the pocket to the sideline, ducks out of bounds, about a loss of a yard as Tauili forces him out of bounds.
You know, talking to Charlie Weiss about Jimmy Clausen, Tom, yesterday, and he said, you know, what we've really learned is we've got a guy who is a tough guy. He's been sacked a zillion times, including 6 last week, but never panicked, showed a lot of composure. You know, this process can get ugly at times, but he's making some tiny steps. But 6 sacks last week, but didn't turn the ball over and threw 3 touchdowns.
So lack of success on 1st and 2nd down, setting up a 3rd and long. It's been one of the problems for the Irish all season. From the I formation, Clausen. Going deep, rifles it across the middle, has his tight end Carlson. Carlson down to the 4-yard line. A gain of 41 yards. Chris Davis Jr. finally brought the big tight end down.
Well, this is something you don't see much. His flag down late there, Tom. You don't see much. It was terrific protection first for Jimmy Clausen. Allowed him all day to find John Carlson, the big academic All-American tight end, right down the gut.
Today's referee, Walter Davenport of the Atlantic Coast Conference.
After the play, unsportsmanlike, 89 on the offense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
Yeah, John Carlson, he's right there at the tight end, but notice the protection first. Picked up a blitz, Schwab did. They've struggled with that all season long, so they pick up the blitz cleanly, allows their tight end, the 6'6" tight end, right down the middle of the defense. They call the penalty.
For that, for signaling 1st down?
That should not be a penalty. That is what it's all about.
That was it.
And what a 9, you're supposed to have some fun, aren't you?
That's a tough call. Carlson out of the game. Will Yateman has replaced him. There's Carlson on the sideline as Notre Dame calls a timeout. Timeout Irish, driving on the opening possession of the game. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Sirius Satellite Radio. Hear what you've been missing on Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio. By Xerox Color, it makes business sense. By Prudential, helping you make the right financial moves in the retirement red zone. And by Toyota, moving forward. And Carlson, after catching that 41-yard pass from Clausen, his longest reception this season, Notre Dame's 2nd longest. Golden Tate had a 43-yard reception, which ranks as the longest of the season for the Irish. After the penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, it's 1st down Irish at the Duke 19. Clausen with a play-action fake, the blitz, and he got away somehow, tosses it, and threw it away. How did he survive that?
I'll tell you, they have not solved the blitz all season long, right, Tom? We said it from the very first game. You're going to see a guy here and a guy off the corner as well, but they just have not been able to solve it. I mean, Jimmy Clausen does a good job of just staying alive and avoiding the sack, but it should have been their 52nd sack, and I think that should have been intentional grounding, by the way, too, Tom. He was in the pocket, wasn't a receiver in the neighborhood. I don't understand why that wasn't intentional grounding.
2nd down and 10 from the 19. Toss to Aldridge. Aldridge breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage. Nice run by James, who got down to the 12-yard line.
Remember, Tom, we said, hey, they just have not been able to solve the blitz. This is the opening game, early September against Georgia Tech. 9 sacks that couple weeks ago against Navy, the leaping lean at the end of the game on 4th down. And then last week, they gave up 6 more sacks, 51 on the season, and it's been in every single game. The fewest. You look at that, Tom, 9 against Georgia Tech, then 6 at Penn State. The numbers, the fewest have been 2.
Still shocked about the 4 sacks against Navy, which came into the game having only 5 sacks all season long and got 4 here at Notre Dame, and didn't allow a single one against North Texas the next week. Clausen for the end zone.
Good
and
defensive
broken up.
play.
Yeah, Robbie Paris, the intended receiver. Leon Wright with him, step for step, and Wright, the sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, makes the play.
Yeah, perfect position by number 7, Leon Wright. Perfect position. He had 2 interceptions against Miami earlier in the year. Not fooled. I mean, you can't play it any better than that.
Nope, almost got it on the rebound on the interception. He has 3 picked off. So a 31-yard field goal attempt upcoming for Brandon Walker.
I think when both teams are 1-9, if I'm a special teams coach, you'd be prepared for anything, fake anything on special teams plays.
Moust holds, and Walker sends it up, and he missed it. Wide right. So a promising drive by the Irish. A penalty, a near sack, a missed field goal. Ted Roof enjoyed that, but it pretty well sums up the Notre Dame season. At Duke. Blue Devils from their own 20. And it's a toss to Boyette. Requan Boyette, their tailback, picks his way across the 25. About a 6-yard gain on 1st down for Duke. As we look at our Adidas starting lineups for the Duke offense. With Riley, the big play man, he's 3rd in the NCAA with over 21 yards a reception, and an experienced offensive line anchored by Rumsey, a 3-year starter at center.
Well, Thad Lewis, I think really one of the elite players in the ACC. Really had marked improvement this year from his starting freshman season a year ago.
Toss to Boyette the other way. And penetration by the Irish that time to blow that play up before it ever got a chance. And it was Brian Smith, the first man to hit him. Our Adidas defensive starting lineups for the Irish, with Laws closing out a stellar career. He'll pass 100 tackles today. Crum, one of 7 4th-year seniors who can petition for another year of eligibility. And Zbikowski will leave as Notre Dame's all-time top tackler at defensive back. Look at Trevor Laws. 4-yard loss on that last play makes it 3rd down and 7.
Empty backfield. People have blitzed Duke in this set all year long.
And here comes a blitz from Crum, picked up by Duke. Lewis rifles it, but just short of the 1st down to Riley.
Yeah, Tom, in a 3rd and 7, you run a 6-yard route. If the math is correct, by definition, you cannot pick up a 1st down, correct?
That's right, especially when Terrell Lambert hits you as soon as you catch the football. So Duke completes the pass, but a yard short of the 1st down. And so Kevin Jones will come on to punt, the redshirt freshman from Austin, Texas, who has punted 62 times this season with an average of 39 a boot. And Tom Zbikowski will be deep to receive the punt from Jones. Zbikowski fields it at the 30, hit immediately, still on his feet, but nowhere to go. A 42-yard punt, only 1 yard on the return. 2nd possession for the Irish coming up.
Composure, staying there in the pocket, sliding to avoid some defenders, and making a bunch of good throws in the second half. He really showed that he can be a quarterback.
On the first series for the Irish, Clausen 2 of 5, 55 yards, including that 3rd and 12, 41-yarder to Carlson. Scrambling in the pocket, he finds Aldridge out of the backfield, and Aldridge with about 8 yards on the reception as Clausen able to scramble and get the completion.
Yeah, just Charlie Weiss was just saying what he liked. One of the things he liked about Jimmy's performance is just this. He said, I had a guy in New England named Tom Brady who's not going to outrun many people, kind of slid around the pocket, made a bunch of big completions, and that's what he's hoping for from Clausen.
Talia Ely made the stop for Duke, sets up a 2nd down and 3. Aldridge pounding ahead, has a 1st down for Notre Dame.
Charlie Weiss talking to us about James Aldridge yesterday too, and he was saying, we knew he was going to be a good runner, but he's going to be understanding the position, the blocking and the receiving part of it.
1st down Irish. Today's 1st down line brought to you by Xerox. James Aldridge to us yesterday about how it's been following the leadership of the seniors as far as keeping your enthusiasm in a tough season. Here he is again. Tried to bounce to the outside, and a nice shoestring tackle is made by Ogabasi, Vince Ogabasi Jr.
Yeah, Ogabasi, highly recruited guy. Everybody wanted him. Miami, Oklahoma, all the big programs. He came to Duke, number 3, unusual number for a defensive tackle. But he just kind of fought through 2 blue jerseys to make the play. Just a really solid player.
Injured Irish player. I see who it is. And it is James Aldridge. A little gimpy as he hops up on one leg.
Remember, we missed one game, I think it was a USC game, with an ankle injury. He just got tackled by the ankles by Ogabasi.
So Aldridge to the sideline, replaced by Robert Hughes, the freshman from Chicago. Second down and 11.
Ogabasi's had a very nice first quarter thus far. That's the 3rd time he's been in the Irish backfield.
And 2 guys, as you said, trying to block him that time. There's a blitz come, picked up, and the pass incomplete. Dropped by Camara, who returns to the starting lineup this week.
I'll tell you, if you're an Irish fan, though, Tom, you're happy about seeing the number 27. That's the free safety, Chris Davis, on the blitz. And this is something they've missed a lot this year. Picked up a ball, a tough catch, but certainly catchable right at this level.
And Robert Hughes picking up the blitz from Chris Davis, giving Clausen a chance to get the pass away, but incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 11.
Probably 4 or 5 drop passes last week.
Yeah, Grimes dropped a couple. Clausen gonna scramble. Nowhere to go as the defense closes in, and he's ridden down at the 45-yard line by Glenn Williams. So another sputtering Irish drive, and the punt team comes on.
Okay, Jimmy Clausen looked like Hugh McElhaney in this one with the stiff arm. Did you see this? You remember Hugh McElhaney, of course, Tom.
Actually, I'm afraid I do.
That's Glenn Williams, the defensive back. Good coverage downfield by the Blue Devils, forced him to scramble.
So Eric Mouse, who took over the punting duties last week after Jeff Price pulled a muscle in practice, is on to boot it away. Mouse toward right. And slips down at the 8-yard line. And that's a flag for a late hit after he was already down. That was not a smart play.
By a smart kid. That's Mike Anello.
By Mike Anello, the walk-on who Charlie Weiss said we'll all be going to him for a loan someday.
3.9 GPA, but that was not a good play.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, 45 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Mike Anello, one of the gunners on punt coverage, a walk-on, number 45. Yeah, he's clearly down. Silly penalty.
Duke's ball when we return. The key 15-yard penalties, one for unsportsmanlike conduct and one for a personal foul late hit, which just occurred and put the ball at the 23 where Duke puts it in play. Play action fake, another fake on the reverse and going deep down the field. Incomplete, intended for Eron Riley. Riley drew double coverage, and Peter Voss, the quarterback's coach, looking at Thad Lewis, his QB, throwing it deep downfield. Voss, you'll remember the last 2 years, was Brady Quinn's quarterback coach here at Notre Dame, and is a reunion with his two girls. One of them goes to Notre Dame, one of them goes to St. Mary's. They're in the stands today, and Peter Voss not retained on the coaching staff. There's a look at Kelly and his wife Roseanne on the left. Kelly in the Duke blue in the center goes to St. Mary's, and Coach Weiss saying it's kind of a pain because Voss knows our personnel so well. Pitch to Boyette.
Tell you what else is a lot of pain is the tuition he's paying at Notre Dame and St. Mary's. Really a classy guy. He's done some good things at a number of stops. Been a head coach twice, 2 different stops, and developing Thad Lewis. One of the reasons Thad Lewis is playing so well this year is because of the good coaching Peter Voss has given him. They do like to throw the ball down the field. We've seen one deep throw to Eron Riley.
And so Voss, the offensive coordinator, giving Thad Lewis the play call after that 9-yard pitch to Raekwon Boyette.
You know, Duke's had some nice runs outside, and if you think about Notre Dame the last couple of weeks, they've been, you know, some big runs on the outside by Navy, by Air Force. Haven't really defended the perimeter terribly well.
Come all the way across the field to measure to see if Boyette had first down yardage. And it is that far.
A smidgen.
So Voss with the play call again. We asked Peter Voss if he kept in touch with Brady Quinn, and he said indeed he does. They text message each other frequently. Brady, of course, now with the Cleveland Browns. And before the game, Charlie Weiss with a smile and a greeting for Peter Voss. Voss on Charlie's staff the last 2 years. It's third down and a foot for the Blue Devils. Boyette is the lone setback. It'll be a keep by Lewis.
Well, he slipped early in that run.
It looks like, well, Notre Dame is saying fumble. I haven't seen no official call yet. Yes, it is. Notre Dame recovers a fumble on the quarterback sneak.
Well, Thad Lewis slipped. I don't know if you saw it. It looked like his left foot slipped very early on. The ball came out and looked like Maurice Crum got the ball.
Did he dig it out of there? I guess he did.
Here's the slip. Kerry Neal, 56, punched it out. Yeah, the ball came out, and then Maurice Crum, his teammate, picks it up. And every play is reviewed by officials.
And this one will be reviewed by Robert Welsh and Charles Phillips from the Big East, the 2 replay officials today.
Did get a couple of good angles of it there, Tom. It looked like it did come out before he was down. Left foot slips. Here's Neal, 56.
Is his knee down at that point? And then the ball out? That's a tough call. Remember, it needs to be really definitive.
Yeah, they called it a fumble on the field, right?
Yep.
It did look like his left knee was down.
Looked like
when he still had possession.
In that replay, it looked like his knee was down before the ball came out.
Let's have another look. Same angle.
The slip.
Still has it.
And knee down.
Right knee down.
Right
yeah,
knee
that's not a fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right knee down. That was a definitive look right there. So it should be no fumble. And that'll be a break for the Blue Devils. Now the question will be, did he have a first down before all the scramble for the football ensued?
Well, Thad Lewis, really, the leader of this Blue Devil team, and Coach Roof was talking to us this week about his leadership skills and how he's developed. And
well, he's on pace to break all the Duke passing records if he stays healthy.
But he's got that aura of leadership about him. We spent a little time with him yesterday.
Yeah.
You just kind of you feel it, you sense it. Really a close relationship with his mom, as he was talking to us about his mom this week to us.
T-Lou, as his teammates call him. And the leadership skills he's displaying as a sophomore is what Charlie Weiss would like Jimmy Clausen to develop in the offseason and be the leader of this team as the quarterback, even though he will only be a sophomore.
Could you believe he didn't know who Sonny Jurgensen was? I said, a great Duke quarterback, where's number 9? He had no idea who Sonny Jurgensen was.
Yeah, they're trying to determine the spot, as we suspected they might.
Well, if the yellow line is correct, that's a first down. Right, that should be a first down. It's where the ball is when his knee hits.
The line about bisecting his waist there, so it should be there's knee down, no fumble, and should be enough for a first. That'll be a huge reversal for Duke.
But it's the right call.
Yeah,
right?
well,
that's why you do it.
It's the correct call.
Okay, the Duke team, the entire Duke team is on the field. They're anxious about the call. Okay, they may have to warm up again.
Temperature in the low 40s and headed down here at Notre Dame Stadium. Still waiting for the call to come from the replay booth. Not only on whether it's a fumble or not, we suspect they'll reverse that. But spot the football and determine whether or not it is a first down for Duke.
Now, it sure looked like he got the first down to me.
I agree.
Georgia 21, Kentucky 13. 41, Northwestern 22.
Peek into the replay booth.
I've gotten home quicker than this, and I live in Los Angeles.
Well, you're the man that got the speeding ticket in his own driveway, as I recall.
True story, sadly.
After review, the ruling on the field has been reversed. The ball will be placed on the 34-yard line. The line to gain has been made. First down.
And they gave him the first down as well, so reversed and first down. They took their time, but they got it right.
And we agree with both calls, and glad he did get it right. That's what replay is all about. So a good reversal for Thad Lewis and the Duke offense, who returned to the field with 6.5 minutes to go in this opening quarter, and now with a first down at their own 34-yard line. High formation set up this time. Harris the fullback, Boyette the tailback. Irish come with a blitz. First down pass caught by Harris. And the fullback out of bounds, just short of a first down. Give him 9 on the play.
Tom, Clifford Harris has had a real nice last 5 games catching the ball out of the backfield. That's the 13th catch in the last 6 games. And he's an interesting guy, too. He took some snaps as a quarterback a year ago. He's played special teams. He's practiced on defense as a defensive end. Now he's playing fullback. Coach Roof said, hey, he's just one of those guys who wants to get his uniform dirty. Just let me in, Coach.
Second down and a yard. Again, the eye. Fullback Harris. So Harris pass reception for 9 and carry for a couple. First down, Duke.
And getting that uniform dirty. We're talking to Coach Roof this week and saying, the 1-9 record is not reflective of at least what he thinks this team is capable of and how they've played. They've been in some real close ball games.
And the progress they've made.
And it's a young team. It is a very young team. And he's got a developing quarterback in Thad Lewis.
So first down for Lewis. Boyette the only setback. 3 wide receivers. Crum shows a blitz.
2 seconds left on the play clock.
Got it away. Lays it up for Riley. And Riley in traffic makes the catch down to the 25-yard line. Darren Walls tackles him there. 28 yards. Well, big play man Aaron Riley.
Absolutely. We said it right at the very beginning of the show. Ryan Riley has done this to everybody this year. It's not just Notre Dame. Really good body position against Darren Walls. Didn't that, Tom? He really came inside Darren Walls where the ball was in the air. Great adjust. I bet he's a pretty good basketball player when he adjusted.
Using his body to shield the defender. First down, Duke. Blue Devils driving. First down at the Irish 25-yard line. Lewis changing the play. First down pass is going to lay it up for Riley. And Riley playing defensive back. That was almost offensive interference, as Darren Walls had a better shot at it than Eron did.
I love it. You go right back to the same matchup. That could have been offensive pass interference. Yeah, you're right. Darren Walls in perfect position. As a matter of fact, that should have been offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
But you like talking to Darren Walls a couple of weeks ago, and how often do you hear a guy say, I came to school for the academics. He came to Notre Dame for the academics, he said. And
I expect that you could hear that from more than one player on these two teams.
Absolutely. Both incredible institutions.
Hand off to Boyette. Nothing doing. Good defense by Notre Dame, stopping him at the line of scrimmage. Trevor Laws, right at the bottom of things, closing in on 100 career tacklers, the top defensive line tackler in all of college football.
Well, it's at least 99, right?
That made 100, actually. 100 tackles.
Just incredible for the position he plays. He plays a lot of nose tackle, then he'll play some defensive end, but he's always fighting and clawing and scratching, and Charlie Weiss called him a pain in the rear if you're an offensive lineman trying to block him.
Big third down and 9 for Duke. Lewis under pressure, trying to set up a screen, but it was well defended. Joe Brockington in the middle of things to knock the ball down as the pressure came on Lewis, and it'll bring up a 4th down. Good defense by the Irish.
Yeah, we mentioned that Duke, like Notre Dame, is not protected the passer particularly well. A lot of people in Thad Lewis's face.
Nick Maggio is on to attempt the field goal. He's only attempted 2 this season, made them both. This will be a 42-yarder. He did make a 40-yarder, as you see, his longest. "42 yards away. And the kick is up, and it is no good. Well, we said these two teams were evenly matched. 2 missed field goals in this first quarter.
How's he doing? I'm worried.
Notre Dame takes over, 24-yard line. Scoreless first quarter with 4:22 on the clock. Each team has a missed field goal. David Grimes going one-on-one in the secondary, getting to the 25-yard line where he's tackled by Katron Gainey.
Well, good defense again by Duke. We've seen a lot of that this far in the game. Nice tip ball by Chris Davis, the free safety, and the outside blitz really wasn't picked up. That was Vincent Ray. And then a really good play in the end zone by Leon Wright. That's 3 of the reasons Notre Dame doesn't have a score yet.
They have a 2nd and 9 here after the reception by Grimes, gained only a yard. Fisher steps in and stops things. And apparently Duke has called a timeout. So timeout Blue Devils. It comes at the 3:45 mark. Notre Dame football brought Mondo Allen in at tailback. Gets the call, dancing his way to the 30-yard line. Just short of the 30.
We talked about Armando Allen and how he's touched the ball in so many different ways this year. Runner, receiver, kick returner. Been productive. He hasn't gotten the ball in the end zone. Coming in today's game, 124 total touches, only 1 time in the end zone, and that was last week.
There you see what he has done, and Charlie Weiss said he's just starting now to play like he does in practice. Predicting great things for him, but he never has been quite as productive in a game as he had been in practice.
He gets in the end zone in practice a lot more.
Clausen. Carlson in traffic, still on his feet. Takes 3 men to bring him down, but big John Carlson with a reception for 8 yards and a first down. Eddie Morgan was the first to hit him.
We were talking to Coach Weiss yesterday. Says, he's my favorite guy. He said, if you're looking for an All-American, the All-American boy, that's John Carlson. Really good student, 4.0 GPA, academic All-American, really good football player. Will get drafted in the 1st or 2nd round probably, and a guy that is a captain, 2-time leader of the team. Just did it all for Coach Weiss.
That's what he said. He has it all. First down, 38-yard line now for the Irish. Allen A couple yards. Vincent Ray takes him down at the 40-yard line. And Armando Allen Jr., the freshman from Opelika, Florida, who went to high school with Thad Lewis, the Duke quarterback. They went to Hialeah Miami Lakes High School together. See Thaddeus and Armando, the high school teammates who have kept in touch, talked very frequently, and had a greeting for each other as they came on the field for warm-ups today at Notre Dame Stadium. Clausen draw play, handoff to Allen. Hit hard and dropped in his tracks short of the 45-yard line by Clifford Ruskus and Marcus Jones.
I'm amazed he got up. Armando Allen just got smoked. Where James Aldridge is already hurt. John Carlson blocked. He ran right into John Carlson, his teammate. He started that play 5'10". He's now 5'8".
Ruskus hit him low and Jones hit him high. 3rd down and 4.
A more manageable 3rd down situation for Notre Dame than they had earlier in the game.
Clausen, time. Pass batted away, incomplete. Intended for Carlson again. Well defended by the Blue Devils.
Was it batted away or go right off John Carlson's shoulder pads?
I don't know. Eddie Morgan was there. Let's see. He hit Morgan's helmet, maybe.
Wasn't out in front of the receiver, that's for sure. Ted Roof, the head coach and defensive coordinator.
Moust will punt for Notre Dame. And Wright, the deep man for Duke.
Eric Moss, the punt.
Mouse sails it toward Wright, who gathers it in at the 14-yard line. And a split defenders to get it to the 24-yard line as we check in with Craig.
Well, you know, the foundation for the great game of college football, the dedicated high school coaches, and as you mentioned, Tom, we have Thad Lewis, Armando Allen going to the same school with me, a very proud high school coach, Jerry Hughes. What's it mean to come out here, this environment, and see 2 of your kids making big-time college football?
It's just a blessed opportunity. I guess it takes 38 years of coaching to be in this kind of situation. I'm just very proud of those 2 kids and to have an opportunity to see them both play on the same field.
I was wondering who you're going to be cheering for, but from the hat I can see, well, I guess it's Notre Dame on one side, Duke on the other.
It's just a great opportunity just to be here and see them both in this level.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Craig, I love the hat, and Craig's right. Those high school coaches who work so hard doing most anything, equipment managers, head coaches, coordinators, lining the field, whatever it takes. They are the foundation of this great game of football, and our hats off to him. He has to be enjoying this moment with Thad Lewis and Armando Allen playing on the same field, and a storied field at that, at Notre Dame Stadium.
And he's got his wish, Tom. Tight game.
Yep. 2nd down and 11 coming up for Lewis.
Thad Lewis has thrown a touchdown pass in 12 straight games.
50% completion rate, 43 yards so far today. 35 seconds left in the opening quarter. Blitz. Lewis able to get it safely to Ronnie Drummer. There's a penalty marker on the play.
It might be a late hit on the quarterback. Thaddeus Lewis went down late, but good read by Lewis. Smart play. Saw the blitz, dumped the ball off to the back.
Got a lot of savvy for a sophomore.
Yeah, sure does. Really, really growing into the position. Well, Sonny Jurgensen would have been proud of that play.
Number 9. I don't think he's quite a big a character as
no, that's true.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 58. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Roughing the passer, number 58. Yeah, that's stupid play. Helmet to helmet. Not only was it late when helmet to helmet, so he's going to get him in either case.
And Brian Smith out of the game, replaced by Maurice Richardson.
When you dumb plays like that, coaches tend to take you out right away, don't they?
They want to have a little word with you, or several. Penalties have aided Duke today, but they've been unable to put any points on the board. They have a 1st down now at the 45-yard line. Duke at their own 45. 29 seconds left in the quarter. Blitz comes from the Irish. Penalty marker down. Did it cause a Duke lineman to flinch? Trevor Laws right in the middle, disrupting things. Well, Craig Sager here for Alex Flanagan today. It was a false start by Duke. It was on Brian Morgan. Saw Craig down on the sideline talking to Coach Hughes. Is Steve Spurrier, is the old ball coach here today?
He looks like him, doesn't he? Or Nick Faldo. How about Willie the Wildcat? He was the Willie the Wildcat. He was the mascot for Northwestern one year.
From the shotgun, Lewis whips it complete. Nice catch made by Wright. And Jomar Wright with a 12-yard gain.
You know, Tom, Peter Voss was saying about Jamar Wright, he's a guy that, you know, started well but kind of faded a little bit. We said really need to get him back involved in the passing game today. That was a terrific adjustment by Jamar Wright.
He's the leading receiver. That was his 44th catch of the season. And the quarter will end before Duke gets that play away. So the first quarter ends in a scoreless tie, 0-0. And we'll be back to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Prudential. While we were away over on the sideline, Dan Wenger and Jimmy Clausen practicing some shotgun snaps. Wenger starting at center. He is a true center. Clausen taking those snaps practice. And that's because John Sullivan is out today, the fifth-year senior center, injured, not able to play. And so Coach Weiss saying we can use the shotgun because Sullivan had sort of a mental block against some shotgun snaps that he had misfired on earlier this season. There's Justin Boyle getting the carry and picking up the Duke first down.
Yeah, Duke is rushing the ball a little bit better than we anticipated, right? They're dead last in the NCAAs, but good offensive line surge. And Leap and Mina for the first down.
I always think that stat's misleading in college football because the sacks are subtracted.
No, and they've had 40 of them. But even if you take those numbers out, they haven't really run the ball as well as you'd like.
Final score for Ohio State winning at the Big House. Harvard and Yale.
Yeah.
And the penalty marker will stop that play in its tracks.
This game has no rhythm to it, you know. A bunch of penalties and a bunch of punts.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 60, 5-yard penalty, so first down.
Maritas with a false start on the Duke offensive line, the left guard.
This is a pretty experienced Duke offensive line. You see the starts on the right-hand side, all over 20 starts. It surprises me they don't run the ball a little bit better.
So first down and 15 for the Blue Devils. Lewis steps inside the rush, throws it, and it's incomplete. Stefano had a chance to catch it, but the hit dislodged him from the ball. It was David Bruton that knocked him away from the football, and Stefano hurt. Took a shot in the ribs, it appeared.
You just felt that. I mean, you feel it when a quarterback has the ball in the air that long and that high.
And putting the ball high left Stefano exposed.
Shots like that, you know, for mothers, you want your player to be your son to be a punter, not a receiver.
So Nick Stefano, the senior from Wheeling, West Virginia, back. By Comcast, get the best picture and more to watch with HD from Comcast. It's the way HD was meant to be. By Charles Schwab, we're taking the sting out of investing. Talk to Chuck, Charles Schwab. By Adidas, impossible is nothing. And by Allstate, proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands? Nick Stefano, who already has a psychology degree from Duke and is pursuing a graduate degree in humanities, injured on the play, but able to walk off the field over on the Duke bench. Second down and 15. Lewis hangs it up high and too high for Riley.
Two high balls in a row.
Well, Eron Riley, it's an unusual first name, E-R-O-N, Eron. Why is that? Well, mom and dad named all their children starting with an E. Erica, Aaron, Ariana, Eric Jr., and E-Ross.
E-Gets, Tom. That's a lot of E's.
I just always wanted to be a straight man.
Yeah, you're very good at that, by the way.
You know, we've been saying how evenly matched these two teams are. In the first quarter, they each had 5 first downs, each 5 completed passes, each to miss field goal, each 0 points. Lewis steps up, threw it into a crowd. Lucky that wasn't intercepted. Batted down, intended for right by Kyle McCarthy.
That guy was not open. Kyle McCarthy, who comes in a lot of passing situations. Good, really good defense, as good as it gets. Covering right.
So 4th down for the Blue Devils. That'll bring Kevin Jones back on to punt. Tom Zbikowski, who just really has not been able to get untracked returning punts this his senior season, is in his 5th year at Notre Dame. And he won't have a chance on this one. Takes a decent Duke bounce and goes out of bounds. They're spotted at about the 10-yard line, where the Irish will take over. Scoreless in the 2nd quarter. Irish, there's what's happened on their first 3. And a couple of fresh troops in for Notre Dame. Junior Jabby makes his first appearance at running back. And George West Jr. at receiver. Clausen chased from the pocket, does manage to find West.
Yeah, you looked at those drive charts of Notre Dame. We were talking to Coach Weiss yesterday, Tom, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And once again, not picking up the blitz. A completely free middle linebacker, To'i Ilo. Close enough. But Charlie Weiss saying, we've got to spend 2 weeks self-scouting ourselves, finding out what we're doing wrong, see how we can create it, solve those problems. And so take a look inward first.
2nd down, pass wide of West, who makes a diving stab at it, just a yard short of the 1st down.
Because the stuff this year just has not worked. They've just never been able to get any semblance of, something that you can really have confidence in, the run game or the screen game, or certainly not down the field throwing.
Well, nothing has gone right for them on offense, really, nothing. 3rd down and a yard here. Robert Hughes in at tailback. This will be Hughes, the freshman. Didn't get much, but didn't need much. Looks like he has crossed that 1st down line. So what will Charlie Weiss do to try to turn it around? Well, he said recruiting must continue at a high level, off-season conditioning, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go back to New England and let them tell me what's wrong. Here's what he said about it.
Probably the people who know me and I know them, and the systems match, as far as X's and O's and, as that goes, would be New England. So, I'll be getting there, try to see if I can't get humbled a little bit and have them tell me how dumb I am and see how much they could do to help me fix it.
Well, that's what he's planning to do in the offseason, in the winter sometime, probably about February, he said. There's also a chance Bill Belichick could come into Notre Dame to take a look at the Irish defense. George West with his 3rd catch on this series.
Most coaches do go other places to try to, see what other teams are doing. He went to West Virginia last year, but when we asked him yesterday, he said, no, I'm going home. I'm going back to the New England Patriots and have them tell me what I've been doing wrong.
Clausen, draw play, the handoff. And short of the 1st down, Armando Allen stopped by Kenny Rucker.
Kenny Rucker, number 42 for Duke, big old guy, and you can't tell by his body shape now. He hits a pretty big old body. In high school, he was a pretty good running back and actually returned 3 kicks for touchdowns. Big old dude. That was about 100 pounds ago.
He also spent some time as an offensive lineman. Tips the scales at about around even 300.
Yeah, 3.5 sacks on the year for Kenny.
All right, 3rd down and about a yard to go for the Irish. Robert Hughes back in. Hughes, little cutback, gets him the 1st down. Robert Hughes.
Good vision that time by Robert Hughes. And didn't try to do anything terribly fancy. He knew exactly what he needed, and then he went and got it. Unlike receivers we see on 7-yard routes when you need 8. Good powerful run by Robert Hughes. Grew up not too far from here in Chicago.
You remember the story from a couple of weeks ago, the tragic incident when his older brother Tony was gunned down in Chicago. Half the team attending the funeral, the ones that could make it. There he is again, pounding ahead. And Robert electing to play just a few days after his brother was slain, saying that he thought Tony would want him to do that. And of course, the first touchdown of the game was scored by Robert Hughes as he went in, and Coach Weiss said wanted to get him in the end zone if he could, and so he did.
And Coach Weiss said the most disappointing thing about the loss that day was that Robert Hughes wasn't leading the team in the fight song in the locker room afterwards because of the loss.
Clausen hands it off. Another determined run by Robert Hughes. 5'11", 230 pounds, knees churning. He gained over 5,700 pounds at Hubbard High School.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned Dan Winger, number 51 right there. A good block by Dan Winger. And you said he was a natural center. He played 4 years of center in high school in Coral Springs, Florida, teammate of Sam Young. And, he said, it's tough. It's a tough position to play. You got to snap it with one hand. You got to be moving at the same time.
Got that big cast on his left hand and forearm.
Actually smaller than what we saw yesterday.
Yeah. Back to Hughes. That time he didn't make the line of scrimmage. Chris Davis Jr. from his free safety spot, getting penetration in the Irish backfield. And near the end of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet players of the game from each team. To honor their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Chevy, an American revolution.
Tom Golden Tate in again, a guy that just has not really made much happen since the Purdue game.
Clausen. Scramble by Jimmy Clausen back to the line of scrimmage, but short of midfield. And Michael Toi'ili'i with the tackle for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, this is this situation in 3rd and +7 where the Irish have just been, Tom, awful. 89 times have been 3rd and 7 and only completed or converted 13% of the time. First, that's way too many times, right?
Right. 1 of 2 today. They're 3rd down and 9. Clausen completes the pass short of the first down. Camara tackled. Again, they run a route short. Leon Wright makes sure that there's no first down yardage, and Notre Dame facing a 4th down.
Yeah, again, it's 3rd and 9. They run a 7-yard route, and they've not had many yards after catch this season. And Charlie Weiss will go for it for the 33rd time this year on 4th down.
That leads college football. There you see the numbers. They need about 2. And before they can run the play with the play clock ticking down, they spend a timeout. Timeout Notre Dame with 7:28 left in a scoreless first half, and the Irish facing a 4th down. Will they go for it when we come back?
There'll come a day when
3 tight ends, Carlson, Yateman, and Chris Stewart, normally an offensive tackle at a tight end spot. Robert Hughes, the tailback.
Yeah. It's unbelievable that Notre Dame jumped, right?
Well, we were watching on the sideline during that break. Coach Weiss was saying we're going to go on 3.
Prior to the snap,
unbelievable.
False start.
I mean, you say that as a quarterback in the huddle, and Charlie Weiss is telling his team, we're going to go on 3. Yeah, see, they just said it right there. Said it twice. And then he wants, to get the head bob by the quarterback. Now, in 2 guards, both of them go on 1 when they just called it on 3 twice.
So Eric Moust will come on to punt now on 4th down and 7. Over his head, picks it up, tried to get it away and did. And takes a great roll. There's a little luck of the Irish. Down to the 20-yard line of Duke, a 29-yard punt.
Let's be honest now, this is some bad football. Snap over the head of Moust. I tell you, he just did a great job of
somehow getting it away, and then had enough English on it to get the roll. Zbikowski said, yep, good job. So Duke will take it at their own 20-yard line. Eric Moust, high school quarterback.
Pitcher on the baseball team here at Notre Dame.
From Atlanta. First down, Duke at their own 20. 7:15 left. Scoreless first half. Boyette stacked up at the line of scrimmage, might have fallen forward for a yard before he was thrown back. Never did get him down.
One of those seniors, Joe Brockington, really made the stop there. One of those guys saying goodbye, last home game at Notre Dame. And, you know, when we talked to some of these seniors this week, Tom, they were saying, you know, it kind of creeps up on you. You think it's never going to happen, that last home game. And in spite of the 1-9 record, you know, they were sad to see it go, sad to leave.
So the other scores go by. Florida with the big win over Howard Snellenberger's team. Florida Atlantic. My guess is that Tim Tebow had a big day.
Yeah, he's right in the Heisman hunt. He's Tim Tebow.
Even though he's only a sophomore. Screen pass. Defended well by Notre Dame. Jamar Wright had no place to go. I guess that was a screen. Looked like lineman coming out in the flat. Ambrose Wooden, though, was there in a hurry.
I like the story about Jamar Wright, a guy at freshman year of high school in South Carolina, didn't even play football, but was in the band. Kind of played the drums. His teammates kind of talked him into, convinced him to come out his sophomore year, had a stellar career and a really good career at Duke. Over 100 catches, 109 coming into today.
Well, from Duncan, South Carolina, I mentioned he was at Burns High School, won a couple of state championships, and even though he was inexperienced, set a state record, 103 receptions and 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns as a senior.
That's the clock.
Resetting the clock.
6 minutes and 15 seconds.
Both teams have faced a lot of third and longs in this first half.
Are you surprised?
You said they were evenly matched, and you're right.
So Duke lines up with 5 wide receivers, 3 to the top of your screen.
Let's see if Notre Dame blitzes them, because everybody else in this set has brought these guys when they played against them.
Empty backfield with Lewis in the shotgun.
Here they come.
With the blitz. Brockington was coming. The pass was tipped and nearly intercepted by Notre Dame. Bruton had a shot at it. It was intended for Jamar Wright. Dangerous pass by Lewis.
Well, clearly the scouting reporters, when they go empty backfield, you blitz them because they don't pick it up.
6 minutes showing on the clock for this scoreless first half. It's been a while since we've had a completely scoreless first half. Kevin Jones will punt, his 3rd of the game. Just about time for Zbikowski to make something happen.
It was like these moments, as we've said over the years.
They were just waiting to pounce on him then as he made the catch. He never had a chance. Driven out of bounds. Fans want a flag. I didn't see one. So that's where the Irish will take over, but pretty good field position for Notre Dame. 5:51 in the first half, 0-0. Zbikowski never had a chance that time.
Cards jump off sides. Eric Olson, number 55, getting an earful from head coach Charlie Weiss. He was saying, you know, we called timeout. We told everybody it was on 3, and we still were offsides.
Downfield for Tate. Golden Tate. Broken up by Jabari Marshall. Dawson's pass a little short. And we mentioned that we saw Eric Olson being chewed out by Charlie Weiss. Here's that play again, Pat.
Yeah, and, you know, good play by Marshall, number 1. We've seen a similar kind of play from Leon Wright, the other corner, against Robbie Paris in the first quarter. Perfect defensive back position.
Yeah. Clausen had hit 4 in a row before that. Now, I mentioned Eric Olson getting chewed out on the sideline. He's out of the game, still on the sideline. Chris Stewart has taken his spot. That's 3 flags down on that play. There's Olson on the sideline, number 55.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty.
5
Still
penalties
second down.
now on the Irish.
Sam Young guilty this time.
Yep. Sam Young, a 5-star recruit from a couple of years ago. Teammate of Dan Wenger.
It looked like about 2.5 on that one.
He told us a couple of weeks ago, in 8th grade, he was 6'6", 190 pounds. Looked like a one-arm, you know. And Charlie Weiss says, hey, you know, left tackle is going to be his position. He's going to be 330 next year, he thinks.
Redhead, freckles.
Smart kid, too.
Yeah, smart. Low snap picked up by Jimmy Clausen. No pressure on him, and he finds a man out of the backfield, Junior Jabby. Jabby has the first down, and a late flag comes flying. Jabari Marshall, the tackle after a 17-yard gain. Good play by Clausen to pick up the low snap and hit Junior Jabby out of the backfield.
One of those delayed little pass plays to the running back out of the backfield.
Personal foul. Defense number 6, helmet-to-helmet contact. 15-yard penalty.
Helmet-to-helmet contact they called against the Blue Devils. Yeah, that's a good call. They called the number 6, Marcus Jones.
So the Irish will have a first down inside the 30-yard line of Duke. 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. From the shotgun, Wenger able to make that shotgun snap, and this one on target through the hands of David Grimes. And unfortunately for David, a familiar scene. So it'll be second down for Notre Dame. You see that yellow line, today's first down line brought to you by Xerox.
Sometimes in games like this, it feels like that yellow line's more than 10 yards away, Tom.
This just keeps running away from you, doesn't it?
Boy.
Grimes out, replaced by Paris after the third Notre Dame drop today. When you have so many troubles on offense, you can't afford any drop passes.
Just bad football.
Play action fake. Clausen chased from the pocket and taken down. Nice shoestring tackle by Ogabasi. Vince Ogabasi sacks him for 11 yards.
Yeah, sophomore, freshman All-American team last year. He's number 3 right here. He's just going right through. I think it was 59 Chris Stewart. I mean, that is the 4th time he's been in the backfield.
Well, Duke in Durham, North Carolina, but you couldn't tell it by some of the names, especially on this Duke defense. Many Nigerians on this defense. There's a list of them. Good luck on the names. We've been struggling with them, of course, but they can play some football. And the thing that Coach Ted Roof said to us about all these Nigerians, they're a very close-knit community. They stick together, and they really value education. So he's able to sell that to them on coming to Duke to play football.
We've had a lot of them at Stanford as well, Tom, their football team.
Clausen chased out of bounds.
That was 3rd and 21. Again, it's just been. Notre Dame has been in that situation all year long. 3rd and very long. They just first and second downs have been unproductive. And now Charlie's going for it again, believe it or not, on 4th and 17.
Well, it's kind of in that no man's land here.
Yeah.
Too far away for a field goal and too close to punt.
Unless you really believe in your defense, right? You say, I'm going to punt it down there and play good defense and get much better field position. But, you know, I think 4th and 17. Yikes.
Can't get commentary like this just anywhere. Clausen across the middle has a
Yeah,
man and dropped. Harris can't hold on.
you just, the students can't believe it either. Got to put their hands maybe over their eyes instead of their ears. Would have been for the first down.
What would Keith Jackson say? Whoa, Nelly. Notre Dame football is brought to you by the enhanced Chase Freedom credit card. Get triple rewards where you spend the most automatically. Learn more at chase.com. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Craig Sager, Notre Dame Stadium, where the rain has begun to come down if things weren't bad enough already. 4:26 left. Scoreless first half. A first half of frustration on both sides of the field. Here's Thad Lewis drilling it to Jomar Wright for a first down gain of about 7 yards. Girls wouldn't stopping Wright for no further yards after the catch.
Yeah.
Setting down a 2nd and 3.
A really tough challenge for both of these quarterbacks when you really don't run the ball effectively. I mean, it's all on your shoulders every week.
Right in motion, pitch it back to Boyle. Justin Boyle has a Duke first down as he crosses midfield into Irish territory, run out of bounds by Darren Walls after a gain of 7.
Justin Boyle's had a nice career at Duke, particularly down by the goal line, where he scored 17 rushing touchdowns. Good block by the wide receiver. I think it was Eron Riley who came down and cracked back. Good block by him. And Clifford Harris, the fullback.
Boyle started 7 times last year for the Blue Devils before a knee injury in week 10 took him to the sidelines, had surgery in the spring, and has come back as a backup this season.
That's a good run.
Another good flag down, late flag down. Justin Boyle with another carry, and the flag comes flying.
That was made by Joe Brockington.
Well, Peter Voss, the offensive coordinator of Duke, returning to Notre Dame, where he was an assistant the last 2 years. His daughter, Caitlin, is a senior here, and she's with Craig.
You know, it was a family affair. You were working in the football office with your father when his contract wasn't renewed in January. You retired from your part-time job. Now you show up on senior day in a Duke jersey. What did all your classmates and friends think about this change?
Well, they all understand my actual leaving of the football office wasn't absolutely my choice, but it's senior day. I mean, I'm supporting all my friends that are seniors on the Notre Dame football team, a bunch of the walk-ons, but the Duke boys are my boys. Duke is my team now, and the community, Durham, everyone has opened their arms to us. Great.
Well, the degree comes from Notre Dame, but the heart is now with Duke. Tom.
All right, Craig, here's a swing pass to Clifford Harris, who gets some of the penalty yardage down, and then another flag comes flying. Darren Walls with the hit.
Face mask right in front of the Duke bench.
Fred Rowland had been penalized for a hold in the Duke offensive line, and now the 15-yard pass completion to Harris and the penalty tacked on.
Second reception of the day of Clifford Harris, that fullback wide open. Darren Walls getting a, that left hand.
What were you thinking?
It's not even close, right? Not even close.
Personal foul.
I've been mystified by some of the plays today.
Defense number 2, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And it was what? Second to forever. Now you got a first down.
Got the 15-yard gain on the pass and the penalty tacked on. And suddenly Duke's in scoring territory. They're down the 31-yard line of Notre Dame with 3:22 on the clock, first half.
And 2 timeouts remaining.
Lewis slips down as the pressure was coming from Notre Dame. And he's down at about the 39-yard line for a loss of 7.
Yeah, well, we saw the rain coming down just a few moments ago. Field getting a little slick, trying to plant that right foot to avoid the blitz by Kerry Neal.
I believe this is the last game for this field too, Pat. They're going to take it out and put in new grass for next season.
Just when they were in scoring range, now out of scoring range.
Second down and 18 now. Lewis slipped again, but he's got a man wide open, and he can't hit him. It was Brandon King.
Boy, when you said wide open, you were absolutely right. He was open by 10 yards. But it was the blitz. It was kind of, the pressure on him and he's, clapping his hands because the corner, the tight end, King comes wide open. 2 guys jump the back in front of him, which is too tall for Brandon King. He plays some fullback and tight end. A missed opportunity there, Tom.
So it's third down and long. Lewis fumbles the ball.
Still loose.
And Notre Dame has it. David Bruton with the fumble recovery for the Irish.
Well, it's been a first half of penalties, turnovers, missed opportunities, drop passes. Comes right out of the hands of Thad Lewis. He had possession of it for a while. Wasn't on the snap, it seemed. And then David Bruton, number 27, just comes barreling in to make the recovery to give Jimmy Clausen some pretty good field position.
With 2:29 on the clock, the Irish have 1 timeout remaining. From the shotgun. Clausen's pass wide of the mark, intended for Camara.
Pass intended for Duval Camara. Second down.
Clausen 10 of 19 his first half, 11 yards, and they're hoping to show improvement from that second half last week. Really haven't seen that in this first half.
Second down and 10. Here's Clausen. Completes this one to West. Hit immediately short of midfield.
Clausen's pass.
First hit by Leon Wright.
Good, really soft coverage this time by the Blue Devils. Waiting. Finally gets it. Again, not a lot of, making guys miss and run after the catch has been another issue for them.
Third down and 3, Notre Dame. Robert Hughes in at tailback. Clausen under center. Hughes against that soft Duke run defense. Short of the first down on the mark. Akinbiyi with the tackle for the Blue Devils.
Tackle was by 54.
Looks like it'll be close enough that they'll call the chains in to measure. And a chance for us to remind you that coming up in a minute 39 off the game clock, the Toyota halftime show with Jimmy Roberts and Peter King in New York. All the scores and highlights from the top 25, including that game in Ann Arbor, Ohio State and Michigan. Peter will also have the latest NFL news. Andrea Kramer reporting from Buffalo as the Bills take on the undefeated Patriots tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football. It's all coming up on the Toyota halftime show.
Well, the kind of year that Randy Moss has had in his first year with the Patriots.
A lot of questions about how he would fit in. And here it is, fourth down. They just did not quite have enough for the first down, so going forward on 4th and 1. Clausen hands to Hughes. Hughes dances and breaks it to the outside. Using his blockers, Robert Hughes still going and dragged down the 25-yard line. Picks up the first down. Leon Wright. Aitman was blocking him right. Made the tackle, but it went for 25 yards.
And his teammates are happy that he got the first down and made a nice run. But I think because of, as you talk about what's happened to his brother, watch how many guys after he gets tackled come over and congratulate him. He had 4 or 5 guys in blue jerseys rush over and help pick him up.
And timeout Irish with 1:22 left in the half. Clausen, play action fake, stands in the pocket, delivers the pass, and it's caught for the touchdown by David Grimes.
Real time good for David Grimes. Battled through a bunch of drops last week and this week. And this thing is a flamethrower. Great protection. It was a blitz which they picked up. And then just a perfect throw, and then the catch by Grimes.
So Walker will attempt the point after. Clausen rifling it downfield, and Grimes the diving catch, and with a minute 17 on the clock, our first points of the game as Clausen finds Grimes for the 25-yard touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back to the touchdown, and I'll tell you, here's the pattern, but it's the blitz too they pick up. Notre Dame picks up the blitz. So that leaves the one-on-one coverage, and then just an absolute drill shot in between 2 safeties by Jimmy Clausen. That's a good throw there, Tom, and a terrific catch for a guy who's been struggling with it.
And Clausen with his 5th touchdown pass of his freshman campaign as Notre Dame converts the fumble, the Duke turnover, into the first points of the game. And what a turnaround. Duke was down where they had a chance to get some points. They had a sack and a slip, actually, and then a fumble, and Notre Dame's up 7-0. There's the scoring drive. Our Prudential scoring drive. 5 plays, 58 yards after the fumble. So Ted Roof and the Blue Devils playing on even terms with the Irish till this final 117 as Davis awaits Brandon Walker's kickoff. Good kick, takes a funny bounce, picked up by Davis. Davis using his blockers, pretty nice return out to the 32-yard line.
Chris Davis on the return.
And there's a guy, Thad Lewis, who's had a bunch of the timeouts left. Duke has 2. But a guy, Thad Lewis, has had a lot of big plays, passing plays this year. I mentioned 19 touchdown passes, a bunch of long pass plays to Eron Riley, but you know the Irish are going to be playing soft, right?
Yep.
Particularly on number 15, Riley. There he is. 2 catches in the first half for Riley.
Shotgun with 4 wides. Swing pass complete to Drummond. Drummer
Pass is complete.
out of bounds. Stops the clock at 1:05.
A lot of slipping and sliding on this on the turf.
No gain.
There you see George Toma, the turf guru of the NFL and golf courses and everything else.
Yeah.
He's going to come in to oversee the changing of this bluegrass turf field.
Works on your lawn too, doesn't he?
I wish. Ronnie Drummer gets the call on the ground that time.
Ronnie Drummer on the carry.
Maurice Crum was the first to hit him. Buttled up against the sprinkles and the chill here at Notre Dame Stadium today.
And 4.
Down to 40 seconds. As we await the Toyota halftime report. Shotgun on 3rd down. Right. Couldn't really get a block and fumbled the ball. The ball's still free. And Notre Dame has it at the 25-yard line. Ambrose Wooden recovers the fumble. A disastrous second fumble in the last couple of minutes for Duke.
And a strange play call when it looked like they were just trying to get into halftime down by 7. Wright slips again, ball out. Looked like before his knee came out.
Yep.
Now the Irish kind of keep it alive. And Ambrose Wooden, one of those 50-year seniors, makes the recovery.
Put his hand down to prevent his knee from going down, and therefore it is a fumble.
Well, the Irish have not had many breaks this season, but 2 this first half.
From the 25. No timeouts. For the end zone. For Kamara, and it's broken up.
Good defensive play.
Jabari Marshall.
Yeah, that's 2 by Jabari Marshall, right? Jabari Marshall twice has gone up on jump balls, head turn, perfect body position. Kamara makes a good effort to kind of pull it in over his head, but Marshall getting the start at corner today has done well.
12 seconds. See the numbers for Jimmy Clausen, including that touchdown pass to Grimes a moment ago.
You know, so no timeouts, right? So you had to get the first down or get the ball out of bounds.
Clausen stepping up, winging it for the end zone. Jump ball, caught. Touchdown, Kamara. He went up and beat Leon Wright to the football.
You know, we've seen so many body position plays. That time, Kamara got the great body position. The play before, Jabari Marshall, the defensive back for Duke, got body position. And, you know, when you say jump ball, that thing was just up in the air forever for Duval Kamara, who's 6'4", to go up and get it. And Leon Wright only 5'9", so a big height differential for Kamara.
His 4th touchdown reception. Walker's extra point is good. So Notre Dame with 2 25-yard touchdown passes in the last minute 13 seconds, both after Duke fumbles.
Just at the top of your screen, just wait and wait and wait. Now watch it, just kind of creeps in front of the 5'9" Leon Wright.
It's like blocking out on the defensive glass in basketball.
You're right. And once again, Jimmy Clausen, as Charlie Weiss was saying, they doing a better job of moving around in the pocket to allow him to get the ball downfield. Haven't had too many chances to celebrate this year, but the wide receivers doing it there in the end zone.
And the 6th touchdown pass for Jimmy Clausen. Charlie Weiss enjoyed it. 1:13 and 2 25-yard touchdown passes by Clausen. 1 to Kamara, 1 to Grimes.
Well, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions last week in the first half now. 2 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Disaster striking late here for Duke. Two fumbles leading to 2 Notre Dame touchdowns in 1:13 seconds.
Well, they've been squib kicking these kickoffs just to kind of prevent return from formulating. See if he does it again.
Walker, Davis is deep. Indeed, do it again. Picked up by Clifford Harris. And Harris out just short of the 40-yard line on the final play of the first half. Disaster striking Duke with a couple of fumbles, and Notre Dame with Jimmy Clausen hitting 2 25-yard touchdown passes, one of them to Deval Kamara and one to David Grimes, and it's 14-0 Irish. Craig?
Well, after a lot of costly penalties, missed opportunities, 2 fumbles, you got a 14-0 lead. How satisfying is it after all the hard work you put in to see this lead at halftime?
Well, I mean, the defense played really, really good. They held us in the game, turned the ball over, and we finally made a couple plays on offense in the second quarter to get us in the end zone.
We saw some great plays from Jimmy Clausen in the second half last week against Air Force. Talk about his 2 touchdowns here at the end of the half.
Actually, he's throwing the ball pretty well in the first half. You know, we dropped a couple balls on him again, which has been a little bit of a bad habit. But he's actually stepping up there and throwing the ball pretty nicely.
And his 2 touchdown passes have given Notre Dame that 14-0 lead. Tim?
All right, that's the first half, but still plenty to come. Jimmy Roberts and Peter King in our New York studio. The halftime performance of the Notre Dame Band at NBCSports.com. Now for the Toyota halftime show. Let's go to New York and join Jimmy Roberts.
Well, thanks, Tom. Coming up on the Toyota Halftime Show, as usual, Peter King stops by with all the latest NFL news. Andrea Kramer is in Buffalo shortly with all the NFL news. Notre Dame with 2 late touchdowns leading Duke 14-0. You know, year after year, the best rivalry in college football, at least many think that's so, is Ohio State and Michigan. This year's meeting at the Big House had an unusual twist. For the first time since 1959, both teams were coming in off of a loss. And there is absolutely no love lost between these two teams. Think this means something? Second quarter, Buckeyes trailing 3-0. Chris Wells takes it in from 1 yard out, 7-3 Buckeyes. And in fact, the day would belong to Wells. First drive of the second half, and he busts loose through the line. Nice little shake there. They're not going to get him. 62 yards. How about 230 yards rushing on the day for Wells? That would be all they'd need. 14-3 is the score. Ohio State defeats Michigan, so Ohio State goes to the Rose Bowl, and that is 6 of the last 7 now. The Wolverines have lost to the Buckeyes. A lot of people wondering about Lloyd Carr's future in Ann Arbor. You want a stat on this one? There are many, but how about this one? Ohio State outrushes Michigan 229-15. LSU clinches the SEC West outright with a win today, but Ole Miss is keeping it close on this one. Special teams, the story here. On consecutive plays, a 44-yard punt return for a touchdown for Mississippi, followed by a 98-yard kickoff return for LSU. The Jayhawks have scored 119 points total in the last 2 weeks. They beat the Cyclones 41-10 last year. Reesing to Fields, a pair of touchdowns. That's the story here. Kansas undefeated and seeking its first ever 11-win season in school history. And staying in the Big 12, Missouri at Kansas State. Second quarter, Missouri leading 14-9. The Wildcats block the punt. Ernie Pierce takes it in from 32 yards out, 15-14. Missouri, and they would go on to win this one. Chase Daniel eludes the rush and finds Jeremy Maclin 44 yards for the score. So, 49-32 the count here. Missouri over Kansas State. 3 touchdowns for the senior wide receiver Macklin, who's a former walk-on. 2 as receptions and 1 on a kickoff return of 99 yards. Next up for Missouri, Kansas a week from today at Arrowhead for the Big 12 North title. Florida, Atlantic, and Florida. Gators up 7-0 in the first, and Florida's Joey Sorrentino gets through, blocks the punt. Marcus Manson picks it up, goes 19 yards for the score. Second quarter, Gators up 28-20. Tim Tebow finds Cornelius Ingram from 26 yards out. 35-20 Florida. They go on to win it 59-20. You know, it's been a strange season in college football. The Gators with 3 losses, but individually, who has sparkled more than Tebow? Maybe he's the Heisman Trophy winner today. Becomes the first player in NCAA history with at least 20 touchdowns passing and rushing in one season, a total of 46, by the way. And how about this one? Yale seeking its first undefeated season in 47 years, but Harvard spoils the party. Biggest Harvard win at Yale since 1914. Mike McLeod held under 100 yards rushing for the first time this year. And, you know, over the last several months, NBC Sports, in conjunction with the Notre Dame Department of Film, Television, and Theater, offered an exclusive opportunity to all Notre Dame students to write a script for a 30-second commercial of the Notre Dame game day experience. 3 scripts were chosen as semifinalists, and those students produced the promos. After voting online at NBCSports.com, here is the winning entry titled But on Saturday. It was produced by these 3 young ladies, Maria Buffalino, Mandy Miller, and Christina Buffalino. That's pretty good. A lot better than my school project. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to the NFL and the team that everyone's talking about, of course, the undefeated.
Marching onward to victory, onward to victory for Notre Dame.
The undertones bringing us back to Notre Dame Stadium. One of the highlights yesterday was Pat Payton joining the undertones for his version of White Christmas.
It's almost a season.
Ouch. Ouch. That's all I can say. It's kind of similar to the first half. It ended on a positive note for the Irish, however. What about your Charles Schwab conversation?
Well, if I were talking to Chuck, I'd say 3 things. Although, you know, the Notre Dame receivers stepped up in that last couple of minutes, right? It was 2 pretty good catches. They did drop 4 passes in that first half. That was a key 4th and 17 that was dropped. So that'd be the first thing. And then eliminate the penalties. 6 penalties, 69 yards for Notre Dame. This was a 4th and 2, right? They all jumped off sides and forced a punt. And then for Duke, hold on to the football. Gave up 2 turnovers in the last 2 minutes that were converted into the 14 points for the Irish.
And before that point, the 2 teams had played pretty much on even terms. Yeah. Not good even terms either, but at least Notre Dame finding the spark to convert the Duke turnovers into points to lead 14-0 as we head to the 3rd quarter. The University of Notre Dame may be famous for its football program, but it's also an institution firmly committed to excellence in education and research. Throughout this season, we've been sharing with you examples of how Notre Dame professors and students are working on projects that are having a great impact in the U.S. and around the world. Here now, the final installment of Notre Dame's featured projects. Quarter with Notre Dame up 14-0 thanks to 2 Jimmy Clausen touchdown passes.
Well, you know, things were kind of rocking along for him, just kind of an ordinary day until right toward the end of the half. But, you know, Charlie Weiss was saying, hey, you know, the mobility, you know, getting away from the rush. He's done that a bunch of times today. That was a blitz that came cleanly. Nobody even blocked the linebacker. And how about this? You know, this is a perfect throw. Once again, the blitz picked up to David Grimes, right? You know, kind of squeezed it in between 2 defenders. And then Kamara with great body position and control for the 2nd touchdown to make it 14-0.
And Notre Dame will kick off to get the second half underway. Brandon Walker puts his foot to it, and again a squib kick and picked up with a short man, or somebody needs to pick it up. Yeah. Pushing and shoving after the whistle. as we compare the quarterback numbers.
Well, really very similar until that last couple of minutes when Jimmy Clausen caught on fire with the 2 touchdown passes. And you said Thad Lewis has had 12 straight games with a touchdown pass. Shut out in the first half.
Our Prudential quarterback comparison.
Only 25 yards rushing the first half for Duke, Tom. Again, just putting too much on Thad Lewis.
Pitch it on first down to Boyette. Boyette with a nice run.
And a good block by Clifford Harris, the fullback, number 4.
15 yards on first down.
Yeah, their leading rusher, Raekwon Boyette. And once more to the perimeter.
15-yard carry for a Duke first down. At the
really good block by the fullback Clifford Harris. Had a couple good catches in the first half as well, leading the way.
Bruton and Lambert finally tackling Boyette, but not until he had 15. Good run on first down for the Blue Devils. And again, it's Boyette.
We had 25 yards rushing in the first half, Tom. They have 20 already in the second half.
Joe Brockington first to hit him and drew a crowd.
Joe Brockington's had a lot of tackles. Called his name and number a lot today. The senior playing his last home game.
One of 9 fifth-year seniors that will be playing for the final time on the sod of Notre Dame Stadium. There are also 7 fourth-year seniors that can apply for an extra year of eligibility. There you see the leading tacklers for the day. Trevor Laws passing 100 with his 3 in this game. Boyette has nowhere to go that time. Stacked up the line of scrimmage, maybe lost half a yard.
Number 95, Ian Williams in there, and part of that tackle. You see Tom Zbikowski as well. There's Ian Williams filling in for Pat Kuntz.
Tackle was made by Justin Brown and Brian Smith. There was no gain.
Had a pretty good freshman year as Ian Williams. You know, he quietly kind of logged some minutes, but when he's been in there, he's been very productive.
So third down and 5 for the Blue Devils. Only converted 1 of 7. Slant, good for the first down. And then some to Eron Riley. High stepping past tacklers into Irish territory for a gain of 16.
Well, Smiley Riley, his nickname. I'll tell you, he is slippery too. He goes up and makes contact first with Terrell Lambert to kind of square him up, then comes right off, perfectly thrown ball by Thad Lewis, and then the run after the catch for a first down.
Third down conversion keeps the drive going.
Got him.
Lewis downfield, man open.
Oh, he was open. Underthrow him, Tom. He was open really early. That's Eron Riley.
Riley was all by himself there for a moment. Zbikowski came over late.
Yeah, Eron Riley said 5 catches of 50 yards or more already. Lined up on Ambrose Wooden. It's not Ambrose Wooden's man. It's supposed to be the safety. That's Zbikowski. But if the ball is thrown properly, you know, that should be a touchdown about mid-end zone.
And slipping again, trying to go back and get it. We've seen lots of slips with the drizzle here at Notre Dame Stadium. Another missed opportunity by Duke. Pitch the ball to Boyle. Justin Boyle trying to use his blockers, lowers his head and rams his way to the 40-yard line. Only got a couple of yards as the Irish able to string the play out, and then Crum and Brockington in pursuit make the tackle of Boyle.
And Zbikowski in as well. You know, we talked to him this week about, you know, his academics here. You know, he had a rough go when he first got here, but you know, the academic perseverance, I think he's more proud of that and graduating than just about anything else.
Third down play.
Yeah, 3rd and 8, another long one.
Fumble, and Lewis is able to fall on it.
I guess it doesn't rain much down in Raleigh-Durham.
Must not, because they have had all kinds of problems holding on to the football and keeping their footing here in the drizzle.
You're right, slipping and sliding. Just when you think they had a promising drive going, that one went right through
his legs. How could that be?
Didn't even get it. The ball didn't get up to Thad Lewis's hands.
Never came up. Matt Rumsey. are able to recover it, so it means Kevin Jones will have a chance to punt. Zbikowski watching it sail, and it will sail all the way into the end zone on the fly for the touchback. So the Irish will take over at their 20. First possession. David Gibson, our producer, John Gonzalez, our director. Final home game for the Irish, saying goodbye to 16 seniors, 7 of whom can petition for another year and be back. And Notre Dame leading 14-0. First series of the third quarter for the Irish is a handoff to Robert Hughes.
The Irish close out the season next week up in Palo Alto against Stanford, and Duke goes down the road, Tobacco Road, to play North Carolina.
Robert Hughes on the carry.
Yeah, I enjoyed speaking with Coach Roof. What a classy guy Ted Roof is. Brought a couple of his boys into the interview session yesterday. His twins, nice looking kids, really polite.
Handoff. Again, Hughes. To about the 25-yard line. You mentioned Coach Roof. He and his wife Pam have these 8-year-old twins.
Were they polite yesterday or not?
Yeah, they were very polite.
They were unbelievable.
Ted, born in Lawrenceville, Georgia, played at Georgia Tech, was captain of the team and an all-ACC linebacker. Was a graduate assistant at Alabama, an assistant at West Georgia, Duke, UMass, Western Carolina, and Georgia Tech. We mentioned earlier he nearly came to the Notre Dame campus as a George O'Leary assistant. Action fake. And Clausen. Gonna run with it. And gonna dive ahead. Does a belly slide for a first down.
He's looking more comfortable and more mobile in the pocket than we've seen all year. This is what, Tom, his 8th start, I believe, of the year. And, boy, he just looks, directing traffic. Played a lot of football this year. And, it hasn't always been easy, but, boy, you can kind of see the improvement the last couple of weeks.
Scramble by Clausen. That's a first down. Makes it first down, Irish at the 31-yard line. First down pass. Clausen throws it into traffic, nearly intercepted. Kamara fighting with Jabari Marshall.
Jabari Marshall's had a nice day. Jabari Marshall stepped right in front of that ball for a second. I thought he was going to get it.
Ball was tipped by Jabari Marshall.
He's made some real good plays in the end zone, too, as Jabari Marshall, the junior defensive back from Duke.
Vincent Ray nearly had it, but was out of bounds on the Carroll. So second down and 10. Allen. Armando Allen thrown back after he crosses the 35 by Marcus Jones.
Marcus Jones is an interesting guy for Duke, number 6. He made that tackle, Tom. You mentioned him. And playing linebacker today, but he played some quarterback at Duke. He's played some wide receiver, and now he's playing linebacker. I mean, how many guys do you see who's thrown over 20 passes? He's caught over 20 passes. He's got over 20 tackles. That's an unusual resume.
Started the first game of the 2006 season and spent a couple of games as a wide receiver before he switched over to the defense. Timeout, Duke. No, check that. Timeout, Notre Dame. Notre Dame calls a timeout, facing that third down and 6. Coach Weiss will think it over. 3rd and 6 coming back for Notre Dame. As they did the game with Joe Namath, and on the Friday practice, we were there watching Grambling, and Coach Rob, as they called him, showed up in a suit with a briefcase. He was all business, and you could tell the affection his players had for them, even though he woke them all up at 6 in the morning. He would go into the dorms and wake them all up by banging on their door and getting them out of bed to get their day underway. Kamara
dropped it.
Incomplete.
Had it momentarily. Yeah, you talk about Eddie Robinson, a remarkable guy. I actually played with a bunch of his teammates professionally, and the respect and the love they had for him. Had it for a second, didn't possess it. Incomplete.
Would have been 35 yards on the gain had he been able to hold on. Yeah, Coach Rob made so many, not only great players over the years at Grambling, but so many fine people that he turned out. He started back in the 40s, and as the little promo said a minute ago, you know, fighting prejudice and making it into a real power. And that Bayou Classic, something special.
He really got the credit. You know, he won over 400 games. Just to me, never got the credit he really deserved.
Leon Wright stopped in his tracks after the moused punt by David Bruton, the special teams ace. A 46-yard punt without a return.
Yeah, David Bruton, one of the gunners for this Irish punt coverage team, and he has had a remarkable year doing just this. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago, has a game plan for just these kinds of plays. His 2-year-old son, Jaden, home in Dayton, applauding his dad.
And apparently there's a flag down. Still don't see the flag, but the officials are
it's right here on the 35, right there.
Okay, now I see it. Yeah, right on the white side.
After the play, personal foul, receiving team. After the play, personal foul, kicking team. The foul's offset. First down.
Offsetting penalties. So the score remains 14-0 Irish at the 8:17 mark in the third quarter. Notre Dame scoring 2 touchdowns in the space of 1:13 seconds to end the first half after 2 Duke fumbles.
First and 10 of the 18. The penalties neutralize one another.
From the 18, Duke will put it in play. Hand off to Boyle. Nice run.
Yeah.
Using his blockers, Justin Boyle able to get a good first down run of 17 yards. Craig?
Well, you know, for this Duke team, the end of that first half had quite a lot of similarities to their game against Clemson. They're very involved in that game. They scored the first touchdown very close, and then Clemson scored 16 points in the final 40 seconds of that half. They took a 26-7 lead, went on to win 47-10. Ted Roof told his team, hey, we have to learn from that, but it's a learning experience only if we have a different outcome.
All right, Craig, another slip. Justin Boyle slips down and falls into the arms of Darren Walls. Got a pretty good game when he went left. That time he tried to go right and got a loss of a yard.
Darren Walls, remember he said to us a few weeks ago he's hoping to talk to Charlie Weiss and let him study abroad this summer in London. He's the face of the defense the last 3 years, Tommy Zbikowski.
2nd and 11. Pass by Lewis incomplete, intended for his tight end, Stefano, who was being checked by Maurice Crum.
Well, we mentioned Stefano was getting his master's in humanities. I don't know if you read about his theme of his master's, global perspectives in business, Tom. You know, you have a great interest in that.
You haven't seen my stock portfolio, obviously.
You don't have enough Google in there, apparently.
3rd down and 11.
Bunch set up at the top, all 3 wide receivers up there. Boy, good catch.
It was a good catch.
Unfortunately, it's 9 yards short of the first down.
Sheldon Bell, the redshirt freshman, making the catch on the slant from Lewis, but well short of the first down.
Yeah, 3rd and 9, and you have a 3-yard completion. Really kind of a semi-pick play. Rashawn McNeil, who made that stop.
So Kevin Jones, for the 5th time, lines up in punt formation. Zbikowski, short punt, calls for a fair catch and makes it. At the 31-yard line, a 32-yard punt. And the Irish will take over when we come back to Notre Dame Stadium. Today's game brought to you by Prudential. Well, those cuties don't know it's A 1-9 team against a 1-9 team, huh?
No, they're just Irish fans.
Having a great time at Notre Dame Stadium on the final home game of the season. Clausen sets up the screen to Allen. Notre Dame defends it. Duke defends it pretty well. Apaka-Warwick, the first to hit him. Notre Dame, though, passing game a little more robust today. Here's the screen that didn't do much. But
well, you're right, 172 yards.
3 completions of 20 or more yards, which has been a rarity this season, including 41 to Carlson, which is the second longest of the season. And there are the yards for each of the receivers, as 7 receivers have caught passes from Jimmy Clausen. Clausen just throws it away.
There's 2 screen passes in a row. You know, I remember a few years ago against Tennessee.
So potent, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but I remember Charlie Weiss ended up calling, I think, 5 straight screen passes against Tennessee a few years ago.
Flag is down. See the drizzle continuing too here. An eligible receiver downfield for the Irish.
7th penalty on the Irish today.
An eligible receiver downfield on the offense, number 77. Decline, result of the play, 3rd down.
We were talking to Mike Turkovich a couple weeks ago, and he said about this season they were, 1-8 or 1-9 at the time we were talking. He said, you know, we're just not going to let this happen again. I mean, he was really embarrassed about the season. Tiny Bedford, Pennsylvania. You tell us one traffic light in town?
Right. Clausen chased from the pocket, scrambling free. Nice run for a first down. It's amazing how much more mobile he was in the second half against Air Force and today than he has been all season long. You think that's confidence?
I think it is. I think it's presence. And I think the other nice thing he's done, Tom, he's avoided, you know, the big shot, the big hit. Somehow he just has enough wiggle in him to avoid one of those things that send you the shots that send you to the sideline. He's going to take it another step, hoping to lock this position down for years to come at South Bend.
Draw play, Hughes. Nice balance by Robert Hughes. Chris Davis Jr. had to finally get him down.
Best game we've seen Robert Hughes have in his freshman year. And, you know, Charlie Weiss says he's more of our 3rd down back, kind of a in-between receiver runner, but boy, he's made some really powerful runs today.
10 carries, 52 yards for the freshman. Replaced now by James Aldridge, a little shaken up in the first half, but Aldridge back out there now. And gets the toss. Toss sweep. Schwab trying to get a block. Aldridge cuts up and does have the first down. Charles Robinson gets credit for the Duke stop. So Irish first down.
First down for the Irish.
That yellow line, today's first down line brought to you by Xerox. From the Duke 43. Aldridge.
James Aldridge.
Got a yard. Robinson again makes the tackle.
As I think about James Aldridge this year, he's really had a solid year running the ball in tackle. I don't recall him actually losing a football. Haven't we seen that from James Aldridge? Because he's in there running those tough tackle-to-tackle kind of runs where people trying to strip you and steal the ball from you. So he's been ball secure most of this season, to my recollection.
Wildcats gave the Bulldogs pretty good battle between the hedges, but Georgia wins, trying to take that SEC East title, and Tennessee just leading Vandy by 1. Aldridge. That SEC is wild, is it not? Apaka-Warwick making the stop of Aldridge.
Younger Apaka-Warwick, number 91. Also getting some help from the corner there, too. Leon Wright. Good hustle play by Apaka-Warwick.
Down inside 3 minutes left in this third quarter. Notre Dame continues its drive. 3rd and 5. And off to Allen, the running back. He spun down after he picked up a first down inside the 30-yard line of Duke. A gain there of 10. Kenny Rucker.
I'll tell you, Armando Allen, that may have been the best run I've seen from him this year. I mean, good vision, made two guys miss, some good cuts, broke a tackle, then finished it off through a big guy who was trying to bring him down, Kenny Rucker. We were talking to Thad Lewis, and as we said, they played in the same high school, but he said he was much more highly recruited than Lewis.
First down, not much there on the first down run by Allen, with Vincent Ray and Chris Davis combining for the tackle.
Loss of 1.
Kind of unusual to see two teams without the names on the jerseys, isn't it? Second down, 11. Play action fake, and Clausen chased from the pocket, got away from one man. And throws it at the feet of Grimes as Marcus Jones was bearing down on him.
I tell you, I think he's been sacked. He's been sacked once, but he's avoided, I don't know, 5, 6 sacks, has Jimmy Clausen. There's the one sack, the 2 knockdowns, but man, oh man, he's done a great job of just moving around. But, you know, once again, Notre Dame finds himself in one of those 3rd and longs, 3rd and 11 this time. It's got to be frustrating for defensive linemen chasing the quarterback around. You think you're going to get a big sack, and they had just not been able to do it.
So on 3rd and 11. Clausen hands off to Allen. Armando Allen might have been stopped shy of the first down, but had a determined run, lowered his head, and banged ahead for the first, a gain of 12.
Even the leprechaun likes it. He should. Good block by Eric Olson, number 55. Dan Wenger getting his first start at center, doing his thing in there. But, you know, a lot of determination by Armando Allen at the end, because if he didn't get that last 2, it's 4th down. Good looking drive for the Irish.
They have a first down at the 18. Notre Dame will take a timeout. Second timeout of the second half taken by the Irish. Stops the clock at 1:05 of the 3rd, and Notre Dame threatening. Down 18-yard line of Duke, trying to add to a 14-0 lead with a handoff to Robert Hughes. And time for our Prudential Retirement Red Zone stat.
Yeah, the Irish haven't got down there as much as they would have liked. They're a little bit better the last couple of weeks. And they try to punch it in again for another touchdown.
For more Prudential Retirement Red Zone stats, go to NBCSports.com/Red Zone.
9 rushes, 3 passes in this 12-play drive, Tom. I've been keeping track.
Well, you were doing something over there. I just wasn't sure what it was. Second down and 5. And Hughes for the touchdown. Pointing, no doubt, to the memory of his brother Tony, mobbed by his teammates. A 13-yard touchdown run by Robert Hughes, his 3rd touchdown gallop of the season.
You know, Tom, for 2 of the 3 backs that play for Notre Dame, their best performances, Armando Allen and certainly Robert Hughes. And the affection they all have for their teammate, who's gone through so much this season.
Brandon Walker for the point after. And it is good.
It is good.
With 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, the Irish have taken a 21-0 lead. Robert Hughes, the freshman whose brother was slain in Chicago just a few weeks ago, scoring the Irish touchdown. Plays on the ground, and Hughes the clincher. Walker's kick. Again, they have trouble picking it up. They'll just fall on it right there. That was Williams, Alfred Williams, that fell on it.
Well, you said it was methodical, and a lot of Armando Allen, who had some nice runs. Jimmy Clausen staying out of trouble, avoiding the sack. Once again, Allen on the. That was a critical play to pick up the first down, and then the burst through the middle by Robert Hughes to put the Irish up by 21.
And Hughes with the 70 rushing yards on 12 carries, 42 of those coming after contact, breaking tackles, and had the big play in the first half. You know, in a scoreless game, kept them alive with a 4th down run. They eventually scored the first touchdown. Thad Lewis found an open man, Bell, who sat down right in traffic, and Lewis got him the ball for a first down after a gain of 12.
Well, if they're going to get back in this game, it's not going to be running the football. It's going to be on Thad Lewis and those talented wide receivers they have. Eron Riley and Jamar Wright, Shelton Bell.
There's Bell's second reception.
Single coverage down here.
And that, before they can get the play away, that will be the end of the third quarter. So the Irish with a methodical drive, the only scoring in that third quarter. Ted Roof and the Blue Devils will go to the fourth, trailing by 21. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Zbikowski's 18-12 overture to start the fourth quarter as the students mark the time by making a W in honor of Coach Weiss. They start the fourth with the Irish up 21-0. Lewis hit as he releases. And incomplete.
That Trevor Laws would get right into the middle of Thaddeus Lewis. Well, you know, I give the student body a lot of credit here, too. You see all the rain coming down, and the team is 1-9, and they just keep coming and cheering for their teams. Watch the spin move of Trevor Laws. Coach Weiss was saying he's a pain in the rear because he spins and he penetrates, and he's just so hard to block. It's a nightmare for an offensive lineman.
So second down and 10. Lewis down the field, incomplete. And I believe you quoted Coach Rice correctly. Here's what he said about Trevor Laws.
Certain defensive linemen that you say, this guy's a pain in the butt. And that's what Trevor is. He's a pain in the butt because he never stays blocked. You know, he's always spinning or penetrating. You know, he's always creating some havoc. And I think that that's as high accolade as you can give when you're looking at it from an offensive coach's perspective, is, you know, that the guy's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Well, he said he's our MVP. He's not even a close second to Trevor Laws this year.
Well, the Notre Dame players voted on their MVP. We don't know what the result is, but we have a pretty good guess. That it would be Trevor Laws. What a season he has had, leading all American defensive linemen in tackles. And the Air Force assistant coach is telling us last week when we talked to them, I've never heard of a defensive lineman being his team's top tackler.
Well, I know he's going to make the All-American All-Effort team, no doubt about that. And he should deserve some credit for a lot of All-American teams, any All-American team. He'd be on mine, I'll tell you that.
Here's Kevin Jones to punt to Tom Zbikowski. Zibby from about the 21-yard line. Good coverage by the Blue Devils to get him down. That was Clifford Harris that made the play. Time now for our Liberty Mutual Legends of the Game. During his career at Notre Dame, Joe Theismann led the Fighting Irish to a 23-2 record. He still holds the record for most passing yards in a game, 526 against USC in a torrential downpour in 1970, worse than today. He was the runner-up for the 1970 Heisman Trophy, losing out to Jim Plunkett of Stanford.
You know, Tom, I've told you, I was there the day that Joe threw for those 500 yards against USC. He was unbelievable. And it was raining like this.
Irish take over. Jimmy Clausen remains at quarterback. Hands it off to Robert Hughes. And Charles Robinson, the first man to hit him for Duke.
Yeah, the Irish have really kind of picked it up since offensively, right? First 5 possessions, didn't get anything. 21 points in the last 4 possessions.
2 of those a result of Duke fumbles.
But good throws by Jimmy Clausen and a real powerful run by Robert Hughes after a long drive by the Irish.
I think the best throw I've seen Clausen make all season was that touchdown pass to Grimes when he just really drilled it between two men. Setting up a screen. Complete to Hughes. Robert Hughes with a hurdle and the first down across the 40-yard line, giving 14 yards. Apaka Warwick finally will get credit for the Duke tackle.
You know, they've actually run the screen a little bit better today too, Tom. Good patience by Jimmy Clausen, allowed the offensive lineman to get out there in front of it, and Robert Hughes, those soft hands, that's what Charlie Weiss was saying about him a couple weeks ago. Really a very good receiver out of the backfield.
Stopped in his tracks for a loss that time was Robert Hughes. Never had a chance. Penetration from the Blue Devil defense.
By Vincent Ray.
And Vincent Ray was the first to hit him, and To'i was also in on the play.
There's number 34, To'i, and he has led Duke in tackles the past couple of years, averaging 10 tackles a game this year. A lot of negative tackles that he's made over his career at Duke.
Second down and 15 now. Clausen going deep down the sideline, and good coverage again, intended for Kamara, but there was Jabari Marshall once more, stride for stride.
One thing I like about Jimmy Clausen's long ball, though, he's keeping the ball in the field of play. How many times you watch a game on a Saturday afternoon, the quarterback throws it out of bounds? He's given his wide receivers a chance. What Brady Quinn did so well for so many years. But you're right, Jabari Marshall right there.
Seen a lot of the young players on display here for Notre Dame. And Hughes caught that pass 2 plays ago. That was his first reception of the season. And 8 different players have been the targets of Jimmy Clausen through the air. Clausen again avoided the rush, winged it downfield, and almost intercepted. By Jabari Marshall again.
We talked about the blitz so much, how they haven't picked it up. That time Armando Allen, who struggled in that category, really kind of stayed in, picked up the blitz. Watch number 5, who's going to give Jimmy Clausen a chance. Right there to the left of your screen. Knocks his guy down. If he didn't do that, there's a guy right in Jimmy Clausen's face. Just blocked by Allen.
But on 4th down, it'll be Eric Moust to punt. And right, deep, high snap. Moust pulls it down. Low line drive, which is fair caught. So with 12:32 on the clock and Notre Dame up 21, we'll take a break. Notre Dame football brought to you by Prudential.
Will make you last.
For a chance to have your safety tip heard on air, go to NBCSports.com/Allstate.
Back in the rain at Notre Dame Stadium with 12:32 on the clock, and Duke with the ball, first down at their own 23-yard line. Lewis, chase, sacked. Trevor Law's got it.
What a surprise, huh? You know, 1-9, 9-1, get the same effort from Trevor Laws. I just love the guys who are just going to give you everything they have, every single play. Another spin move, that's what Charlie Weiss was talking about. I remember talking to the offensive coordinators at USC before that game. He said, it seems like he's been there 10 years.
Got up off the ground to make this play. An effort play, another one for Trevor Laws. You think those NFL guys aren't watching that on a 1-9 team? Never giving up. The 6th tackle of the game. Screen pass. Complete to Drummer. Drummer tackled by Bruton.
Tom, I always know you like watching Duke sporting events. Proud father of a Duke graduate. Your son Chris Hammond, who played baseball there for the Blue Devils, and 2-time academic All-ACC performer, cum laude graduate. I enjoyed watching him at Duke.
Yeah, enjoyed a lot of trips into Durham to see him play, and a few times on the road too. Both my boys playing baseball, David at Dartmouth and Chris at Duke.
You couldn't get into either school, correct?
Correct. Bailey barely could spell it. Third down. Into traffic. It looks like it's going to be a completion, but short of the first down. How many times has Duke done that today?
6.
Wow.
Well, we've seen Notre Dame do a lot of this year as well.
Yeah, right. Well, it's been a frustrating afternoon for Ted Roof and his Blue Devils. He was saying to us, we've made a lot of progress. We're changing the culture. We've made a lot of progress. We're just sorry for his players that it hasn't been reflected in their win total.
Yeah. Well, he sure is a good guy and a good defensive coach, and you just hope guys like that can ultimately be successful.
Close enough that they're going to measure, but if the yellow line again is correct, it is short, and it is.
Yeah, you got to have to go for it, right? Down 21-0 and 1-9.
Nothing to lose. That's for sure.
I think these kind of games really you can play it loose. You're 1-9, and you really do have nothing to lose except another game.
You just can't get that kind of commentary. I'm telling you that analysis is.
Well, I mean, let it out. You just have some fun with it. Stadium is breaking out in the wave, which I've not seen this year.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
So 4th and 1, and Duke will go for it.
Well, they tried a quarterback sneak last time in this situation and had a near fumble.
As Lewis lost his footing and nearly lost the ball. Harris, the fullback, with a first down run. Nice one to the 40-yard line where Bruton, the safety, has to make the tackle.
Two great academic institutions and schools that kind of do it right, Tom. I think we both have admiration for the way Duke does it, the way Notre Dame does it. Graduate a lot of players, really competitive athletically in all the sports.
No question, these two institutions have it in the right perspective.
And when you watch these guys, it's not that look at me. Every time they make a tackle, guy's pointing at himself. It's kind of fun to watch for a change.
Big time athletics, but it's still an academic environment. Of course, Duke known more for its basketball than it is for its football, but Coach Ted Roof talked about the atmosphere at Duke.
We've got a three-pronged mission at Duke to graduate each and every kid, to positively impact our community, and we're winning national championships in those two areas. But we also want to put a winning championship football team on the field. We haven't done that yet.
And of course, Notre Dame feels the same way. It's good to see these two institutions meeting on the field.
Well, when you see all those graduation rates of the schools, Duke and Notre Dame are always at the top of the list, or near the top of the list.
Lewis with his pass incomplete. Stefano, the tight end, defended by Brockington. Craig?
Well, Thad Lewis was one of those players for Duke to go over the Hall of Fame yesterday. They're very impressed, obviously, with all the kiosks, the interactive stuff you could do. He went over to the Scholar Athlete, pushed up 1974, and it said outstanding academic application and performance, exemplary school leadership and citizenship, and superior football performance, the basic prerequisites for Pat Hayden receiving the National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete Award.
Wow.
He's very impressed with you, Pat.
Craig, that's nice. Can you do my eulogy too? I'm gonna hire you already.
Craig, was that before or after he spoke with Pat?
He wasn't much
Lewis
impressed.
with a scramble and crosses the 45-yard line where he's tripped up by Kerry Neal, one of the freshman linebackers for the Irish.
Thad Lewis, I just like the way he carries himself and not pointing the fingers at anybody. This team, he just has not had much to work with in the running game, so it's all been on him every single week. Sure, he's gotten better, but boy, it's been tough.
We talked to Thad and some of the other players earlier in the week. They were saying that one of the reasons they came to Duke was to lay the foundation for football success. And it was amazing. They all had sort of the same thought about that. Here they go for it on 4th down. Lewis. Is this catch made? No, incomplete, intended for Wright. So Duke will turn it over on downs. And we asked Coach Roof about the foundation again, and he said, yes, that foundation is being laid by these players. He's just sorry they haven't gotten more recognition in terms of wins. There's the incomplete pass, and Weiss says, nope, incomplete. Irish take over. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Lincoln Financial Group, for the means and financial confidence to say hello future. By the new AT&T, your world delivered. By Farmers Insurance. To find an agent near you, call 1-800-FARMERS. And by Coca-Cola Zero. Real Coke taste, 0 calories. Enjoy Cokeness. Notre Dame takes over on downs. 9 minutes left in the game. And a handoff. First down run and a good one. Robert Hughes off to the races. Dragged down from behind at about the 14-yard line by Charles Robinson. A gain of 32 big yards for Robert Hughes, who's having the game of his young career.
Yeah, and again, every time, you mentioned it, Tom, every time he has a run or touches the ball, his teammates, knowing the pain that he's still going through, come up and congratulate him. Well, he has looked nifty. He's looked strong. He's looked fast. 100-yard day for Robert Hughes. His first as a Notre Dame player. Grew up watching Notre Dame, first introduced to it by that movie Rudy.
Here he is again. He's putting on a show here this afternoon. Robert Hughes, the freshman from Chicago.
All three of these running backs coming back next year. Aldridge will be a junior, Allen and Robert Hughes being sophomores. So good block by Turkovich. See number 77, the block he had.
Nice little sidestep by Hughes to get through that big hole, too.
66 yards after first being hit. Wow.
From the 6-yard line. Give it to Robert again. Tries the middle of the line, close to the first down.
Tell you what else this is good for, Tom, is the offensive line. They've taken their share of criticism, not being able to run the ball particularly well this year, but they've done a nice job today. Their best job of run blocking. And there's a Dan Winger that you mentioned first start at center, and Sam Young and Turkovich, Olsen and Duncan. The highly recruited guys all played in that U.S. Army game, I think.
And here's one of the seniors, Travis Thomas, coming on in the backfield for the Irish. Defense and a bit of offense last season. Switched back to offense this year.
Special teams captain, the second year in a row. Penalty flag down.
Play clock had reached 0.
Prior to the snap, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty for third down.
Just one of those things, the process of becoming a quarterback, big-time quarterback, managing the game, there's a lot of stuff going on for a quarterback in college football these days, Tom. As opposed to when I played, we had 3 plays and just handed it off to the tailback. I admit it. I'll tell you what, they've had some success getting the ball to Kamara down in this area before.
Dawson pass into the end zone. The touchdown to Carlson. John Carlson. Weiss calls him my favorite player on the team, the All-American boy, and he gets a touchdown in his final game here at Notre Dame Stadium.
And Jimmy Clausen in a game and a half, 6 touchdown passes and no interceptions. Just bull run by John Carlson. It barreled into the defender, comes off him. Clausen with a good quick release and a nice finish for John Carlson in his last home game. Really been a leader of this team for 2 years.
Brandon Walker for the extra point. And it is good. Carlson applauds. As the victory march heralds the Notre Dame lead. They're up 28-0. Go to NBCSports.com immediately after the telecast for the Vonage postgame report. You'll see the live press conferences of Charlie Weiss and Ted Roof. You'll also see interviews, analysis, full game highlights, all at NBCSports.com. Clifford Harris with that carry. Last Notre Dame touchdown scored by John Carlson. Here's what his coach said about him.
When you think about, the description of all the things you're looking for, you're talking about a good kid from a good family, dad's a teacher, Minnesota, little town, 4.0 this semester, work ethic, leadership. I mean, you can't say enough accolades about this kid.
Yeah, pretty good ball player and a great, great student. Already graduated, 3.6 degree GPA in history, and a 4.0 this semester, as Charlie alluded to.
Good basketball player in high school, coached by his dad. Blitz. Lewis got rid of it, but incomplete. Intended for Jamar Wright.
Some guys can just put it all together. You know, that classic student athlete. There's not enough of them to go around in college football, but this is one of them. 2007 National Scholar Athlete, an academic All-American a year ago. This year's team will be named in early December. I would expect that he would make that as well.
There are his stats today. Another blitz coming from Notre Dame. On the run to Boyette. John Ryan, number 90, made the play. Here's some of the seniors. Travis Thomas, offense, defense, the touchdown specialist. John Carlson, the tight end of whom we just spoke. Tom Zbikowski, in many ways the heart and soul of the defense. So many big plays during his career here at Notre Dame. And Trevor Laws, what a season he has had. The worst imaginable in terms of record and the best imaginable individually for Trevor Laws, who kept it going even in the face of adversity. Swing pass to Justin Boyle. Looks like Boyle has a first down. There's Trevor Laws. Still out there fighting hard, isn't he?
There's a lot of other new numbers I see on the field, but 98 is out there. That's, you know, they shouldn't ever wash his jersey. They ought to just hang it up.
Here he goes, out for the final time.
Isn't it unbelievable? 7 tackles and a sack for Trevor Laws, and an unbelievable effort again. Getting hugged by his teammates on the sideline.
4th down. It looks like Duke is going to go for it. Or will they punt? Munir Prince is the deep man in case they do punt. But Duke will call a timeout to discuss their options with 5:54 on the clock, and the Blue Devils down by 28. Notre Dame 4th down. Kevin Jones in punt formation, and number 9 Tom Zbikowski still strapped up not to receive this punt. We think he's coming in at quarterback in his final home game. He was a high school quarterback. Here's Kevin Jones with the punt. George West back to receive it. Says stay away from it. Takes a lateral bounce out of bounds. Let's see if number 9 now runs out on the field to play a little bit of quarterback in his final Notre Dame appearance.
Well, he's right next to Charlie Weiss. He says he's got 10 plays. We talked to him yesterday. He's got a little wristband with 10 plays, 8 runs, 2 passes. Well, listen to the student when he runs out to play quarterback. I don't think they know it yet.
Here's what he did in his high school at Buffalo Grove. Now they sense it.
He may have told some of his senior classmates sitting in the stands that he may play some quarterback.
He's been agitating for 4 years to Coach Weiss, and he's finally getting his chance.
Students love it.
Flag down before.
He's not managing the game well done.
He just wants a chance to throw it, I bet.
I think you're going to go to quarterback draw.
Prior to the snap, substitution infraction. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Now what do I do, Coach?
So the substitution infraction makes it first down and 15.
Good day for Jimmy Clausen. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
From the shotgun, no less. Tom Zbikowski at quarterback.
The students are going to dig this.
Another flag.
Okay, this is why he plays strong safety, I guess. What Charlie was saying to us yesterday, if the situation arose in a disrespect to Duke, he wanted to get Tom Zbikowski into place of quarterback.
Number 59, 5-yard penalty, no first down.
So first down and 20, they're not making it easy for him.
He told
the crowd.
He told us he was going to do that.
Flashbulbs flashing. Everybody wants a shot of Zbikowski at QB. Here he is, made a run, made a cut, bounced off one tackler, draws a lot of white shirts. Led by Vincent Ray, the top tackler of the Blue Devils.
There he is, yeah. He said, yeah, I'm going to point at the defense. I'm going to try to cry at the crowd down.
Vincent Ray was in there. Gain of 2.
Never has gone down easily.
No. He's got second down now and 18.
He scored 7 touchdowns, I think, in his career at Notre Dame.
Punt returns, interception returns, fumble returns. Try it the other way. Nope. Dragged down in the backfield. Duke says, yeah, take that. And then you see that little. I wouldn't want to pick a fight with him.
He is a boxer.
Kenny Rucker, although Kenny does weigh 300 pounds.
Didn't that guy he fought weigh about 300 pounds? That Meatloaf that he boxed a while back. Crowd counting, shouting Zibby.
After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 42, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, you have to understand the affection that the student body has for Tom Zbikowski, and I didn't sense any intent to show up Duke at all. It was just a reward for Zbikowski, who has been the heart and soul of this Notre Dame team in so many ways over his time on this campus.
All those touchdowns, and you know what? You know, he's done it so much on defense, but as he told us yesterday, he struggled academically that first semester. He actually left Notre Dame his sophomore year during training camp and wasn't going to come back until some teammates called him, changed his mind. He's ended up had a great career at Notre Dame.
And that academic aspect of his life at Notre Dame is one of which he is most proud.
Coming in, my first semester was pretty tough for me. You know, wasn't sure whether, you know, I'd be able to make it academically, and then just start, you know, kept working and, you know, stayed those extra hours in study hall and, you know, talk to professors, keep working, and, you know, I was actually on track to graduate in 3.5. So it's been, you know, it's been enjoyable that I've been able to, you know, get that degree.
Look at the handoff.
To Travis Thomas. Fumble the football picked up in the air by Chris Davis. So Davis recovers the fumble, and Duke will take over.
Well, really a shame for Travis Thomas. You know, he kind of began his career with some fumble issues, remember?
Yes. Stripped away and heads up play by Chris Davis.
Good shot there, too, by Gainey, the strong safety, who got a shot on him. Fourth fumble recovery by Chris Davis this year.
Zach Asak is in at quarterback now for Duke. Asak, who is playing in his 5th game of the season.
Another penalty before the ball snapped.
That was that fumble by Thomas, the first Notre Dame turnover today. There's Asak, who didn't play because of academic problems last year, but did start 6 games back in 2005. In fact, was honorable mention freshman All-American.
He's played in 4 games this year.
LSU leading Ole Miss 24-10.
Kansas Cinderella team this year.
First down and 5 for Asak at quarterback for the Blue Devils. Boyle churning ahead for a couple of hard-fought yards. Tackled by Kevin Washington.
Boyette on the carry.
Well, another game that for Thaddeus Lewis started well. You know, it was a tight ball game till just about 2 minutes left in that first half, and a couple of turnovers, game completely turned.
Asak has a man open, and it's dropped by Wright. Well, you know, Pat, we've talked about the Notre Dame seniors, giving them accolades. Here's that last play. Wright just dropped it.
Yeah. Everything going wrong for Wright.
But
a couple.
But a football program's made up of a lot of different people, and we had a chance a couple of weeks ago to talk to the senior managers here at Notre Dame. It's quite an elaborate manager system, and what a great job they do.
How about that's 24 managers, 3 of them what they call senior managers or senior managers, but 24 managers help with the football program all year. A lot of work.
Justin Boyle picks up the Duke first down.
There's one of the senior managers, Kathleen Mulvaney, philosophy major, and she ran the meeting earlier. She's one of those 3 senior managers, kind of directing what the other 21 junior managers are going to do before the game. But she told us a couple weeks ago they work 40 to 50 hours a week. The remarkable thing, she is the 3rd member of her family. She had 2 sisters who were senior managers at Notre Dame as well.
And those 2 sisters both got engaged at the start of their senior year, and so did Kathleen. She's going to be married in the spring. Asak's pass across the middle, diving catch. Was it good? Notre Dame says no. Wright did hold on for the reception.
She was, Kathleen was a delight. She's hoping to begin and study on her PhD at Vanderbilt next year. See if this ball.
Tough to tell.
Yeah, I thought maybe he got his arm underneath that. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think. Yeah, it's
a
catch.
That looks good.
That's a catch. I think they're going to review it.
Well, it gives us a chance to continue that thought about so many people that contribute to a football program. It's Kathleen.
She looks Irish.
Yeah. And the band members, the band of the Fighting Irish. I don't think there's a better band in all of college football. We hear them every time we do a home game. And this was earlier, playing of the alma mater at halftime, and the senior band members out front.
Yeah, senior day for them as well.
And finally, something to cheer about at a Notre Dame home game, breaking a 6-game home losing streak.
Let's see, Tom. It looks like he gets his hand underneath it. From that angle, that angle looks like the ball actually touched the turf.
Yeah, I think it did touch the turf, that side angle.
Yeah. It definitely touched the turf.
The previous play, ruling on the field, is incomplete. Been reversed. Second down.
He thought he got it, but he didn't.
After review, incomplete.
Ted Roof, 43 years old, in his 4th full season as the Duke head coach, and wondering about his future, probably under a bit of fire, as is Coach Weiss, who has been after this surprisingly poor season. And you'll be hearing from both Coach Weiss and Coach Roof on the Vonage postgame report for their complete press conferences at NBCSports.com, the Vonage postgame report. Boyle with the pass reception, fighting ahead for yardage. And you mentioned this is only the 4th meeting between Duke and Notre Dame, the first since 1966. And Duke, while they're known more for their basketball these days, was a football powerhouse. They had the Iron Dukes back in 1938?
Don't ask me.
Against Notre Dame, personal foul. The Iron Dukes, 1938, went to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. They were unbeaten, untied, and unscored upon in the regular season, although they lost to SC. And the Rose Bowl, 7-0, I think it was.
Defense.
And then
helmet to helmet.
A real oddity.
Half the distance to the goal.
In 1942, just after Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, with war underway, there was a prohibition against any large gatherings on the West Coast, and so the Rose Bowl itself, the game itself, was moved to Duke Stadium, now Wallace Wade Stadium on the Duke campus, where Duke squared off against Oregon State in the Rose Bowl, the only time it was not played in Pasadena.
Flag down, Tom, I hate to tell you.
And I hate to hear it.
Prior to the play, false start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And time now for our Chevrolet players of the game. We thought that Marshall had a pretty nice afternoon, Jabari Marshall, for the secondary of the Blue Devils. He also made 6 tackles, broke up 3 passes. And Robert Hughes, what about Hughes? His 110 yards today, a high for a Notre Dame running back this year, and the first freshman to rush for 100 yards or more since Darius Walker back in 2004. In recognition of their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And knocked away at the last minute, intended for Riley, broken up by Leo Farine.
Well, you know, for the Irish, not only nice day for them getting their second win of the year, but wouldn't they love just to pitch a shutout right now, too? Good coverage by Leo Farine. That's a pretty good, tough guy to cover, too. Riley has been in the end zone a lot this season. 9 times.
So with 1:24, the Irish going for the shutout, and Duke's deepest penetration of the game. Second down, 15. Asak throws underneath, and the pass complete to Austin Kelly. Chased out of bounds at about the first down marker by Farine again.
Duke has some pretty good wide receivers. We talked about the 2 starters, but some young guys too. Austin Kelly being one of those, a freshman, and another one, Sheldon Bell, that we saw catch a pass earlier. Big run after the catch, and good size. Kelly's 6'3", another freshman, recruit 6'5".
Sheldon Bell, the redshirt freshman, 6'4".
Yeah.
Touchdown as Zach Asak kept the ball after the good fake to Boyle and scampers around the right side for the touchdown.
That was a good fake, wasn't it?
It was. I wasn't sure who had the ball there. I had to hesitate. Asak had it. 6-yard touchdown run.
Well, he wasn't hesitating. Zach Asak led a nice drive for the Blue Devils. Threw it well, hung in there in the pocket.
Zach's dad, Phil, played at Duke and in the NFL.
Little swinging gate.
Nick Maggio, the extra point. He has not missed in 10 of them this season.
Flag down. Flag down, Tom.
That elicits a groan from the crowd.
How many penalties is that? That's 18 penalties today.
Well, Duke with an 8-play, 49-yard drive to get on the scoreboard.
The one thing Charlie's not going to be happy about is the penalties.
Yeah.
It's 12 for, over 100 yards.
And early in the game, they really hurt Notre Dame.
Yeah, some big ones.
Offsides. Defense. Number 23. It's declined. PAT is good.
So 28-7 now after Zach Asak directs the touchdown drive, the sophomore from Westwood, Massachusetts.
Clausen looking relaxed.
Did smile for a change.
That's 16 of 32, 3 touchdowns, 194 yards, no interceptions. Had 6 TDs the last 2 interceptions, and really protecting the ball. I tell you, he's made leaps and bounds. That giant leap for mankind that we're talking about at the top of the show.
6 touchdowns the last 2 games for the freshman Jimmy Clausen. And in the offseason, Coach Weiss telling us that his task will be, number 1, to get stronger. Number 2, to continue to learn the offense, and number 3, to take on a giant leadership role on this team for next season. That's what Coach Weiss wants him to do.
And that has to be earned, right, Tom? You just can't be handed that just because you're the quarterback. How about the old onside kick attempt?
Joe Surgan is out there to try that, I'm sure. No, kicks it away instead. Notre Dame was expecting it, so they had only one man back, George West, who grabs it. Takes it across the 35 up to the 38-yard line. Well, another season ends for us, and thanks to all our teammates who made a difficult season palatable. Would you agree with that, Pat? And
absolutely.
It was a
great crew.
I think of all the things that have happened in this wild and wacky football year in college football in America, this fall from grace of the Irish has been the biggest shock of all. Here's Darren Bragg in at quarterback, the young man who runs the show team, the scout team here at Notre Dame, and has been the show team player of the week on many an occasion. He had to impersonate all the opposing quarterbacks for the Irish defense during practice, and we spoke with him a couple of weeks ago, a would-be actor, very gregarious, very engaging to speak with. And I'm glad to see him get a chance on the football field. Darren Bragg, and also on the field, another walk-on, Neil Kennedy.
Number 69.
Number 69, and Kennedy, Coach Wise telling us, is maybe the only player in history to be show team offensive and defensive player of the week, and said the best long snapper we have on the team.
Yeah, he said that about in the same week. You know, that's the scout team. You know, he played the scout team, and he played on defense, and he played on offense, and he was named Scout Team Player of the Week for both, and walk-on engineering major. One of those good stories. You know, the walk-ons, they get hammered every single day. And before the game, Charlie Weiss kind of saying hello to all his guys, wishing them well. And
including Kennedy there, yeah.
Special message to Neil Kennedy.
So the walk-ons getting a chance to play at Notre Dame Stadium. Their Rudy moment as Bragg takes a knee to bring the game to a close. And Bragg with a little dive to the turf, and Kennedy with a big smile. The walk-ons getting a chance to help celebrate only the second victory of the season, as Notre Dame with a 28-7 victory over Duke this afternoon. Jimmy Clausen with 3 touchdown passes. Peter Voss getting hugs from his former team, as he was an assistant coach here the 2 years before this season. Final score again, Notre Dame 28 and Duke 7. Time now, you've been watching this game brought to you by Prudential, and time now for the Vonage post-game report. Trevor Laws with his final home game. Let's go down now. Craig has Charlie Weiss.
Well, Coach, you know, you're going to be around for many years to come here at Notre Dame, but for some of your seniors, this was their day, the senior day. How much have they meant to this program, and how much did it mean to you today to see Laws and Carlson and Zbikowski have such great games?
Well, it meant a lot for me for the frontline guys to have big games, but it almost meant just as much to me to the guys to be able to get in at the end of the game and get their couple moments, their moment in the sun. That was almost as important to me.
What about Zibby's moment in the sun at quarterback? What was the thought process there?
He's been complaining to me for 3 years to see if he, go back to his high school days. So I'm glad I got him in for a couple of snaps. So.
Also, Clausen played great. Hughes had over 100 yards. Do you think maybe they woke up the echoes showing that, hey, you got a good future here?
Well, we got a long way to go, but we got some bright young players here, and hopefully they keep on developing and get this thing going in the right direction.
The team certainly played worthy of the fight song today.
All right, thank you very much.
Time.
All right, Craig. So there is Robert Hughes, 110 yards rushing today. One of the offensive stars, Jimmy Clausen, with 3 touchdown passes and now 6 in his last 2 games. Maybe he has turned the corner as the Notre Dame offense with its best showing of the season in their victory over Duke here this afternoon. The students saluting the football players, and the football players now raising their golden domes in salute back as the Notre Dame band, the band of the Fighting Irish, plays the alma mater, Notre Dame, our mother. emotional moment for the senior students and the senior football players. Trevor Laws, what a season he had. John Carlson and others. Tom Zbikowski. Something that the young players will take notice of, file away, and before too long, before they realize it, their time will be here. Back to Craig.
Well, I'm with Trevor Laws. What a great career you've had here at Notre Dame. How much did it mean to go out with this victory here, to stand here before a very loyal student body that's been cheering for you?
It's what it's all about, man. We came with Notre Dame and played for these fans. We love this stuff, man. These students we pay for my man Zibby here, all these teammates. It's what it's all about, man.
We talked to Coach Weiss. He said you've been the heart and soul of this team for so long. He was to do whatever he could to make this a special day for you. Talk about the thought process he had about you going in at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate him letting me get in, get some offensive snaps, try and get things going. Just got to appreciate it, give it all to my teammates and stuff. But, I mean, it's a great time,
When you look back, you guys have a great career here. A couple BCS bowl games the past 2 years. Talk a little bit about it to us, what it means to you, and as you walk around for this final lap, what this process and what Notre Dame means to you.
Man, so many, ups and downs when we first got here. Just started off tough, getting to BCS games, getting relationships that, we'll never forget and have for the rest of our lives. And especially playing for these guys, the fans behind us, the students. The Notre Dame Nation, it means everything.
You got a lot of football ahead of you, Trevor. Next level, but what has it meant to play here at Notre Dame?
It's everything, man. The relationships, the people. I mean, look around me, man. It's just all these awesome people, man. It's just been the best 5 years of my life, man.
Well, this is the way it's supposed to end, right here. Right. Congratulations. Thank you, Tim.
All right, Craig. Our thanks to Brian Harden and John Heister here at Notre Dame, helping us through the season. And
nice to see some smiles for first smiles at the end of the game for the Irish, first home win.
Well, I said today a bittersweet moment, that final walk across campus, but a chance to leave the stadium for the final time with a smile and a good memory in what has been an extremely difficult season. And the final victory lap for some of these seniors that will be departing, going on about their lives, some to professional football, some in other walks of life.
I always wonder, these Notre Dame kids, these graduates 20 years from now, they always seem to make a difference in their communities, don't they?
And one thing that they all have mentioned as they talk to us, it's the relationships, they said. The relationship not only with the other football players, but with the other students here at Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, a lot of connection, affinity.
Well, these kind of moments have not been at Notre Dame Stadium this season until now, and the final game ends up with a resounding victory. And the Vonage post-game report will continue from Notre Dame Stadium right after this 30-second break.
The phone company has an important...
New York will get you back to South Bend in just a moment. First, we take a look at some of the key games in college football today, and we start with a big rivalry in the Big Ten. Ohio State...
We're back at Notre Dame Stadium, where Notre Dame has beaten Duke. Final home game of the season for the Irish. They'll close on the road against Stanford. That's Trevor Laws, number 98. And a moment ago, two Warriors, Laws and Zbikowski, posing for pictures together. And a short while ago, greeting his family over here at the wall. Trevor Laws and his family with an embrace. Craig?
Well, John, everybody was heading in, but now all of a sudden you're going back to talk to the students again. What does this mean to you? Final game, going to touchdown, your great career?
It's I really can't explain it in words. My whole experience here has been unbelievable. By far more than I expected.
What did it mean to score a touchdown?
It was great. It was nice to kind of go out that way, but more than anything, it was fun to get a win.
He doesn't want to leave the field. Tom wants to go back and join the fans and student body. Congratulations.
And why not a rare moment of celebration for the Irish as they beat Duke 28-7.
I love to say that, this is what you practice all week long, all season long, to have a few smiles after the game. Good for Notre Dame. They finally got it for the seniors. Classy guys.
So Notre Dame wins over Duke, their second victory of the season. Our Vonage post-game report will continue now on NBCSports.com, where you can watch the press conferences live from Coach Charlie Weiss of Notre Dame and Ted Roof of Duke. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Then starting at 8, 7 Central, it's Bionic Woman, followed by Chuck and Law and Order SVU, only here on NBC. Thanks to all our teammates who made this season possible from Notre Dame Stadium as the Irish hope to turn things around. The legacy of Tom Zbikowski with one final embrace at the stadium. For Pat Hayden and Craig Sager, Tom Hammond saying so long from Notre Dame Stadium.
Tom